A little bit shocked, honestly, at the entirety of the Dallas Fuel. A bit of burn blue going on with the predictions there. Four of our analysts all predicting Dallas for this one. Although I do agree with them, I think it's a hard ask, honestly, given how dominant they were looking yesterday, Josh.
Definitely, but I don't think that you should count the Shanghai Dragons out. I totally agree with Jonathan. They are really finding their groove right now. If you compare this recent performance from them against what they were doing back in week 1 and even in week 2, it's a stark contrast. Shanghai have really picked themselves up. There are definitely still questions for me in terms of how are they going to perform when it comes to rush. Are Dallas Fuel even going to take them to rush maps, for example? But when it comes down to just the bread and butter of how they've been playing and what Dallas like to play as well, they actually have some pretty decent answers, which I'm sure we'll get into later on during the cast.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the Dallas Fuel starters, and we can see this is a team that obviously the storyline that we keep iterating is, of course, like the limitations of them not having these hit scan players. Danny was hitting about it on the desk as well, talking about how, you know, Shanghai, they could abuse that fact to take away a win. But the overarching thing here is absolutely Fearless playing against his former team.
Yeah, that is the storyline that's got my juices flowing, to be honest, Brent, because Fearless is such a phenomenal talent right now, and he's always been a great talent ever since he rejoined the Overwatch League and was playing on that revamped Shanghai Dragons. And there were so many questions about what his loss on Shanghai would do to the team, what his addition to the Fuel would bring, and so far in this season, he's been a frontrunner for best main tank. That is a player to watch out for. We were looking at the Dallas Fuel and we're saying, okay, maybe they'll be powered by their DPS line of Exy and Sparkle. Well, Exy isn't here anymore, and Sparkle has had to fill in on the Tracer and is doing an excellent job, but it's all about Fearless, really. It's Fearless and Doha, this combo that's playing so well right now, especially with the Winston and the Sombra.
Let's take a look at their oppositions here, the Shanghai Dragons. A team that, like we said, you know, they've had a bit of an up and down sort of season thus far, but it's not about how you do in the regular season, it's how you heat up in the playoffs. And they're a team that have been steadily improving. They just about scraped past a win against Florida the other day, so we'll see what they can do against this this currently revamped and on fire Dallas Fuel squad. As you can see, they're all just kind of raring to go. A couple of them out of their seats, you know, just getting the blood flowing, as you do.
Yeah, they actually look happy. They look ready to go. And I don't think, Brent, that you should take the scrappy, close win over the Florida Mayhem yesterday as a sign that the Dragons have no chance in this game. I recognize that was a bit of a community narrative coming in here. Everyone's got Dallas as the favorites. The desk is all predicting them. Shanghai's style is designed to disrupt their opponents. They're not playing for their own win conditions as much. They're trying to be that disruptive presence with putting a lot of pressure on the enemy main tank, which is going to be so interesting when they're doing it to Fearless, a player whose tendencies they know, a player who they've played with so much and they understand exactly how he's going to be taking engagements. It's going to be a new kind of challenge for Fearless, playing against players who have got his number and a coach that he played under as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you figure that they would sort of know, I guess, the trick to try and figure out a lot of what to do to disrupt Dallas, I suppose, if you're moving from one team to another. I believe as well, Fearless, he essentially asked if he could play with a lot of his former teammates on Dallas Fuel, and the Shanghai organization was kind enough to obviously, like, you know, let them part ways. And let him go over to that team. So it's not exactly a heated rivalry between these two teams. It's not like Fearless got dropped. It was quite it's quite friendly between them. But it's always interesting seeing these kind of rivalries. And now we're going into the first map. As you can see, it is Ilios on your screens, and it's a map that we've seen a variety of different stuff being played, but it definitely fits the kind of play style that Shanghai want to do.
And both of these teams could be throwing curveballs at us all game long. Both of these teams are the ones that have deviated from the meta the most within their respective regions. Shanghai have been playing a bunch of Winston with Zen in their backline. They've been playing Winston Sigma at times. A large amount of ball comps with Sombra Farah. And you know what the Dallas Fuel have been throwing at us. A crazy amount of Symmetra and all sorts of different May Doomfist kind of comps to throw people off. I'm interested, Brent, as we head on to Ilios here, to see whether the Dallas Fuel pull out that kind of rush dive comp that they've been playing a lot of, with the Winston, the Diva, the Lucio Moira, and then the Tracer and the Sombra. A very fast-paced composition that's designed to just jump on you as fast as they can and tear you apart. That could be the key to taking down Shanghai if they run a Pharah composition. But Shanghai themselves can run it. Lip and Fleda would be perfectly happy running a composition like that.
And the teams are just obviously going to be teasing a thing or two, switching over to roles as well. We actually see, not quite a rough mirror match, but the DPS are going to be matching at least. Dallas opting for that Winston and the Diva as well in terms of the tank comps. And Fade on the Wrecking Ball is going to be trying to disrupt them a lot in the backline. You can already see him in there, just kind of putting a bit of that damage, poke damage into the backline. But now the engagement comes in from Dallas. Look at them trying to take a lot of the positioning away from Shanghai here. Fleda has to back off to the rest of his team just to be healed up. Fielder goes down first. Lip takes him out, removes a lot of healing now from the Dallas Fuel. They're going to be finding it hard to take this fight further forward. And yeah, just a couple of players left standing. Going to be cleaning them up nice and easily.
The tank line is the enormous difference here, right? It's Fate and Void are playing together to try and disrupt Dallas as much as possible. The bubbles are going to be on Fate as much as they can to try and knock the Dallas Fuel around and disrupt this dive that they've got going on. Dallas's comp is very aggressive. It's pretty much just a straight-up dive composition. They want to be finding a target, burning them down really fast. And over for Shanghai, it's about playing those longer extended fights and stopping Dallas from reaching their objective. That time it was Lip, and this Lip Sparkle Tracer duel is a really interesting one.
Fate goes for the power driver here. See him getting body blocked actually by the tanks. Dallas want to engage off of that. They realize he actually doesn't have any cooldowns whatsoever. Look at that, that's so explosive. Dallas just, they knew that Fate. Okay, post bomb laid down. Not going to be getting that one. Sparkle's still trying to take the 1v1, but the point flips over. But yeah, that team fight was so interesting because they knew that Fate didn't have the power driver, didn't have his grapple. They body blocked him so he couldn't engage. And they were like, oh, that's what we're going to be going in on.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Overwatch at this kind of high level is about monitoring and tracking your opponent's cooldowns and trying to use those opportunities to engage, finding the right timings. I'm taking a look at Doha here as well. His Echo has been fantastic in the past. He's up against one of the best, though, and Doha's already going weak. He has that duplicate, though, if he can push Fleder away.
Oh, Jex are going down in the backline. Lip somehow gets two, and now he's trying to take the fight to Fielder as well. While all this is going on, Dallas still want to keep fighting this further forwards. Fearless with the Primal. I can't believe that he's just clutched this in the front lines while all that was happening. Fleder now putting in the self-destruct off the back of the duplicate, see if he can get anything done with it, but the DPS of Dallas Fuel have still been alive, still been doing that damage. And the team fight is won despite the fact that Lip set it up so beautifully.
The cruel irony. Shanghai, a team which was carried all last year by Fearless's incredible Primal Rage skills, end up losing that team fight to a clutch where he pulls it out again. This guy's Primal Tech is just world class. It's absolutely elite.
Void is looking now for an opportunity to use this grab. Doha falling means that they might not have to invest too much into this one, but Dallas want to be holding on. You can see Fate uses the mines just to clear them off the point to a degree. They don't want to be playing on that left-hand approach. From afar, a lot of pressure being put into them. Void now going to be utilizing that grab. It catches onto a lot of targets, but Sparkle ends up using his pulse bomb just to push them away. Lip also going to try and answer back, but the backline of Shanghai is in a lot of danger now. Fearless and Sparkle, the coordination is elite from these guys. It has been the entire tournament long, and now only a couple more players of Shanghai are left remaining. Lip's just got to try and contest this point to potentially keep it going, get the overtime going. 97%. He is going to be able to touch. But now Shanghai have got to try and win this team fight.
They have a rally, so that's going to give them a lot of sustain in the middle of this fight, and Fleder could clutch this out as well. A duplicate onto Fearless, or maybe even Doha could be enormous here, but Fleder needs the damage to build it up. Fate slept, Void hacked, this tank line's susceptible.
There you go, the Bionade into it. Great setup there from Fielder. Still has the nano, by the way, ready and waiting. Eventually going to let it rip, but maybe a little bit too late here. A pulse bomb from Lip actually takes him out. Now Fearless though with the Primal. Close quarters, the point gets flipped up. Nano boost applied out. Onto Lee J gone. Fearless needs to try and get this pick, to try and turn this for his team. Actually going to get it, but he's being brutalized. Chunked down, the shield bash locking him in place, and Shanghai, in the middle of that, again, it was the DPS who set it up beautifully.
And now things slip over. The Dallas Fuel are looking to retake, and the big ultimate that they have on board is going to be Doha's EMP. Sparkle, of course, could change things and just flip it on a dime if he lands this pulse bomb. But the EMP is a much more, team fight winning opportunity. Oh, Sparkle is getting harassed by Lip. Lip is doing such a good job on the Tracer. It's not his usual role. It's kind of the same story for Lip and Sparkle here.
Well, Lip almost close to another pulse bomb here. And this could really keep them in the game. Shanghai Dragons, they want to be winning out this team fight now. Dallas, though, unleashing the EMP. Sparkle leads it in with the pulse bomb as well. So many kills going their way. The mines were dropped, but it's not going to be enough. One clip to the face. Lee Jae-gong will fall. Lip evens it out, but he will be brought down as well. And Fate, just with the power driver, wants to keep the overtime going, but I don't think that's going to be enough or necessary here. 1 round now to Dallas Fuel. 1 step closer to taking the map.
Great start from Dallas. They showcased that composition was flexible as well. They didn't just keep Doha on the Echo. When he swapped over to the Sombra, it became a much bigger issue for Shanghai to deal with. I think trying to contest Fleta in the air is probably a mistake, because Fleta's the kind of player that wants to coordinate with all the rest of his team. He's not just going to dominate the game if you give him too much space. So I think instead focusing on that ground war with Sombra is a much better idea for Dallas. And neither of these teams at the moment going for that Tracer Sombra composition. It seems like Shanghai are pretty set on playing poke comps here with Fate on the ball. Perhaps just recognizing that they don't want to go toe-to-toe against Fearless.
Yeah, I wonder if Lip is also going to stick with this Sombra.
Oh, look at this. So Shanghai are running a Tracer Sombra, but it's with their ball comp, so I think they were anticipating Dallas to be running a pretty similar kind of setup. Izzyaki is a key target in the backlines now for Sparkle and Doha.
Another sleep dart. Fate's going to get woken up. Shield Bash, though. Bionade connecting onto him. I don't know if it's going to be good enough to try and take him down. A lot of pressure being applied, but the Bionade's eventually going to fade. No kills going either way, but look at this. Doha jumping into the backline, lays down the sticky bombs. They're just trying to coordinate a bit of damage here. Fate is in trouble, and he is going to get brought down. They chase him out of the fight. Hanbin falls, though. D-Meg's a little bit earlier. Look at this approach now, as Void's still alive, able to chase down a couple of these targets. Bionade connects onto Void. Void's in trouble. Needs to try and survive this one, but doesn't really have any means to do so. He will be D-Meg'd. Spark with that pulse from a little bit earlier, just evening it out. Both the Tracers now. Fleta moving over to the role in this capacity. He's got taken out Fielder. This removes a bit of healing, and this fight's still going. Nobody's winning this one yet, but finally it gets flipped over to Dallas.
Fearless had a nano boost on him, which allowed that to happen. There was a solo EMP just there onto Fearless as well to try and shut him down. They weren't able to translate the kill at all. Lip just wasted that EMP because the follow-up wasn't there from the rest of his team. And now Dallas are getting ults online. That Primal is almost up for Fearless, and that is going to spell the doom for Shanghai, surely.
Never-ending team fight. It's still beginning from the beginning of this game. The Transcendence is going to be used and forced out by Izzyaki. Jexa going down is a great setup now. Can Shanghai convert it into potentially flipping the point? Yes, they can. Dallas forced back off of it. They had to commit quite a few ults as well. The mines up to the point of forcing the positioning, but Dallas want to keep fighting this one. Pulse Bomb is going to be laid down into the bubble. Doesn't quite get the kill they're looking for. And the ult's being committed by Dallas here. Bit of a waste. They're not going to be winning this team fight out, despite the fact that they thought that they could turn it.
Notice how much scrappier this feels than when Dallas played against Chengdu. That game was quite structured. People are talking about how, those teams looked really good, but Shanghai Mayhem looked a bit too sloppy. Shanghai are forcing teams to be sloppy when they play against them. That entire team fight that we just witnessed was just an ongoing brawl, a mess that Shanghai eventually just dragged mistakes out of Jexa, punished him and made Fearless's Primal useless. Now Lip is nearly up to another EMP, and Sparkle's been punished.
Yeah, Sparkle had the recall, but for whatever reason opted to not use it. Void might get D-Meg'd here, though, punished. Possibly for the hubris. No, his team's going to peel for him and heal him up. Now, Void's still going back in. He realizes he can play a bit aggressive. Lip. That's a zero-man EMP. Yep, zero-man EMP. Didn't get a soul with that one. Dallas want to keep fighting this one, obviously. Fate's going to get caught now. And they take him down. I believe that was a Bionade into the Shield Bash again, catching Fate.
Oh my word.
The Pulse Bomb, looking to turn it. Has the Pulse Bomb ready. Waiting, what a stick! A lot of damage being put out, but not really any targets falling here. I believe the bubbles helping them out here. Not quite the bubbles, but the shields at least. And Shanghai still fighting at this team fight.
That is
76%
insane.
and counting.
Here comes Doha, though, with an EMP. They have EMP, they can combo it with a Bionade, a Rally, a Primal Rage. They have all the tools they need to be able to flip this. It's just about coordination. What a whip shot as well.
EMP comes through. It's going to be catching, I believe, onto Fate. Yeah, they're going to try and bring him down
Void.
here. Void,
Both
teammates out of the
tanks.
fight. Fate neutral hacked as well. Dallas now, they remove both of the tanks. Fearless using this primal just to kind of separate as well the backline. Taking a ton of damage, but eventually, as soon as they clean up these players, they will be able to flip the point in their favor. But Shanghai, God, they fought so hard for that. 99% is what they got on the board, and now a single team fight decides them winning this round.
Dallas are normally really good at these aggressive defenses, and this is what they need to do here. They've got to get onto Izayaki and punish the backline before Lip gets in position for this EMP. I know that Lip's EMPs have been bad so far. He's caught one target with 2 EMPs, but if he lands anything, it can be curtains for the Dallas Fuel. They have to go aggressive, and here they go.
Nanoboost onto Fearless. They realize that they have to be taking the pace to them. Izayaki goes down. The EMP comes through, but it only catches onto Fearless, and he was mid-leap. He's already back to the safe clutches of his team. The post-bomb from Sparkle. Fate will be removed once more. And Fearless, by the way, just building up this primal off the back of the Nanoboost, already 80%. And
That's
it is
a
getting
tragedy.
dangerous now for Shanghai. Dangerous.
I mean, Lip's EMPs have been an absolute tragedy in this game so far. It's not just that he's trying to solo EMP people. That is fine. But they have to be in a position for your team to punish, and not when Fearless is leaping away. Now Dallas are in a great position. I mean, Grav, EMP, they have a primal to finish people off. There's almost no hope here for Shanghai. Flutter would have to come out with a god-tier pulse.
Grav from Hanbin is going to catch on to so many players, but the damage is already done. The Transcendence, I believe the healing was split there from Fearless's bubble. The Primal should absolutely do it now as he's just cleaning up the rest of the players. Shanghai Dragons desperately trying to cling on, but it will not be enough. Maybe Flutter or Lip might be able to get a last-minute touch, but it will not happen. The Dallas Fuel going to be leading this series early on the first map.
Relatively impressive from the Dallas Fuel. They were able to hold off the aggression and the chaos of the Dragons. But from Shanghai, there were some wild mistakes in that game. That kind of stuff needs to be cleaned up. The ult usage has to be there to be able to take down a team like Dallas. They were in prime position to be able to win that second round, and they just couldn't do it. Lip is currently having a bit of a nightmare of a game over on that Sombra compared to Doha, and these are the 2 best Sombras that we have in the league right now, statistically. Number 1 and number 2 in hack assists, but you wouldn't guess it looking by Lip's play so far. Needs to tighten that up.
We'll find out exactly how this series is going to be progressing. If the Shanghai Dragons, possibly, they might have something more up their sleeves as well to try and deal with the Dallas Fuel. We're going to see on the other side of this break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Even more Overwatch League action will be coming up right after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
The votes are in. Fans that tune into the May Melee tournament from May the 6th through May the 8th can earn the Overwatch League home and away skins. So link your account on YouTube today, right at the bottom of your screen. See the rewards button? Click it. There you go, that's how you do it. Not the exclamation mark drops. I realize that came out very aggressive. Very aggressive, but it didn't intend to be.
Stop it.
Just trying to be still. Yeah. Let's take a look at the Indeed player resume here, and Fearless, of course, is going to be the guy that we're looking at here. Playing against his former team in this match, and he was the guy who really sailed a lot of success for Shanghai last year. Now moving over to the Dallas Fuel, and he's doing the exact same here.
Yeah, if we think actually back to that 2020 May Melee, that was the tournament that first started the Fearless is the best Winston in the world conversation. Because the Shanghai Dragons, they were down. It was match point to the Seoul Dynasty back in the May Melee. They looked like they were completely down and out. And then the Shanghai Dragons subbed in Fearless and played Winston in a meta where most people were playing Orisa and just swept through and looked absolutely dominant. And he's doing somewhat similar stuff again here. He's not really playing off meta, you know. Winston is played by a lot of the top teams right now, but he is doing exceptionally well. And here they are.
Yes, you can see them. They've got their setup going in Hawaii. Very astounding. I really, every time I even think about it, it's just kind of ridiculous to me. I think just the past year in this pandemic, where the realization of being able to have this international event with two of these teams playing from drastically different locations, but not really having too many ping issues is really astounding.
It's miraculous.
And quite magical, isn't it?
It truly is, yeah. We're going into Anubis here, and this is where I start to have a lot of questions about where these two teams go and what the map pool looks like, because, of course, now that we're in the main melee, it's loser's pick. So with Dallas Fuel taking Oasis, Shanghai get to select from the different assault maps that they have open to them, and we've seen some really creative things when it's come to maps like Hanamura recently. But Anubis is so open in terms of what you can run, and the Dallas Fuel have been quite creative with their picks when it's come to different teams that they've played against here. I really am finding it difficult to predict what these two teams are doing, because they'll have put specific prep aside for each other and what they want to do. So I'm just leaving it open. It feels like there's probably going to be quite a lot of echo. Maybe we'll see Lip on a long-range hit scan if he feels like he can't be contested that much. But really, it's whatever the teams think is going to get him across the line. The meta is so open.
Teams truly can. They can play a lot of different stuff. And obviously Shanghai getting this map pick. There were a couple of other options, but ended up trending towards this one on Anubis. I believe this was the first map they ever designed in Overwatch, Josh.
Really? That's incredibly cool, actually. That's really cool. I didn't know that. I think this was the or like the first, I don't know, prototype, I suppose, that they pieced together, and it got turned into an actual map. Obviously, like, not straight out the box, you got to make iterations and whatnot, but I could also just be pulling that out on my backside, but I'm pretty sure I heard that from somewhere. I'm pretty sure I heard it from somewhere. Here's a stat that I may or may not have been pulling out of mine as well. Lip, no, it really is, this is a true stat. Lip on the Ash, he led the league in terms of damage done per 10 minutes coming into this tournament on Ash. And the Dallas Fuel simply do not have a composition that they have been playing regularly that will match him on the hit scan. So Lip is going to be damage boosted along with Fleder. He's going to get reses up if they go and dive him. What do the Dallas Fuel do against this?
Yeah, it's almost oppressive, the amount of damage that you can output on the Ash. Long range hit scan, the Dynamite as well, coupled on top of it. He's going to start rotating back to the high ground here. Dallas, you can see them just setting up now for an approach and a retake on this high ground. Legion gets hacked. Is that going to be anything to capitalize off? The damage they're outputting onto Fate is ridiculous, and that was all off the back of another Bionative Fielder. The Sleep Dart connects onto Void, taking him out of the fight for now. Fielder just trying to put in the shots. Another Bionade connects onto Void along with the hack. Void really just cannot be rejoining this fight right now. He's been chunked down to half HP, but at this point, it's too late. The Dallas Fuel, they've already gained their ground, and they're going to be retaking or taking this initial point.
Comprehensive outplaying from the Dallas Fuel. The Sleep Dart setting up a hack to be able to punish Void, but really it all comes down to that kill onto Fate. With your main tank dead, you simply cannot hold a defense here. And maybe with Legic on hacked, he felt like he had to stay too far forwards in the front line. Whatever the reason was, Fate was not quick enough to be able to get out of there. And he got punished really heavily by another great Bionade from Fielder.
Nanoboost is ready for Izayaki. He chooses to unleash it to try and turn this momentum, and they are going to go for the aggressive defense. Jumping onto Fielder, they're finding that pick as well. I believe that was a damage boost layered, so way too much to overcome here. Sparkle will be next. Dallas just trying to basically kite it backwards. You can see Fearless. They don't have enough burst damage to try and chunk him down, so it's just kind of tickling each other. Fade also going to be trying to block off this choke point as the res comes out onto Fleder as well, creating a lot of space for them. This is back and forth. Dallas choosing to invest ults into this. Fearless using the Primal Rage to split them up. The self-destruct as well. The EMP. It's catch 4 underneath on the Mega Outback room. And Fearless now just catching so many bodies. Look at the damage he's doing.
This is absurd. This is one of those fights where you only see like championship level teams take that. What was even the opportunity that Fearless witnessed? I don't know. But they believed in it and they went for it, and the execution has just been phenomenal. This is a masterful machine with all of the cogs working in the right way, and Dallas are powering their way through.
It's not over just yet though. Lip's going to try and even it out with the quick pick onto Doha. Sparkle duplicated up, can't deny the res actually. Does get the Primal Rage off, but let's see how his Primal mechanics do compared to his counterpart, Fearless. He's going to get taken out the duplicate form. Fleder will fall once more, but the longer the fight goes, the better it looks. Lip was the one who set it up with the early pickoff. They're going to be coming in with the spawn advantage here. Dallas still choosing to fight this one. Picking their battles well. Void got the Bionade applied, now the Nano Boost as well, so Void's going to be able to stall this one out but for a little bit longer.
He can't really do anything with that Nano Boost because he was hacked out. Legic gone has gone back onto Lucio. Fleder on Reaper. It's just pure stall right now. And Dallas is somehow still in this fight.
Dallas losing so many players, but it matters not. They're coming back straight into it. Void holding onto this self-destruct. He needs it to try and survive this fight, but he's hacked up here. Unable to use it. Dallas Fuel winning this fight out. The EMP layered down. Connects onto Fleder. They take him out. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. 3 minutes 22 is what the Dallas Fuel will be working with. And it's just madness. Sheer outclassing is what we're witnessing here. The Dallas Fuel, I don't know what openings they saw. I don't know what opportunities they saw, but they found them and they forced them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Brent. It's my job as the color to try and explain to you why the Dallas Fuel chose to engage there with their Primal Rage after they just lost a couple of players and chose that avenue to go in. I simply don't know. The shot calling from Dallas there was absolutely phenomenal towards the end. They just spotted an opportunity for Fearless to Primal make space at the choke, and then they sent in the Diva Bomb towards the end as well. And all of their players were just able to jump in from this chaos that Fearless creates. Yeah. I think they were hoping to try and catch them with this EMP and the self-destruct. It didn't necessarily work out, but they had caught so many people with that EMP from Doha that they were able to still mop it up with Fearless's Primal. That is split-second decision-making and fantastic opportunistic play. That level of pace is what Dallas brings, where they can just take a team fight and flip it on a dime. What mistake did Shanghai make there? But they didn't look like they were too overextended, but they still offered an opportunity for Dallas to hit him with a counterpunch, and it leads to an enormous time bank. That is an amazing team fight.
Just ridiculous. Shanghai with an opportunity to come back at them. He's going to be trying to work hard to match that kind of time bank. Lip just going to be opening up on the Widow just to see if he can get a pick off. Actually, opting to try and stay onto this for a little bit longer than he thought he was. I think at an early pick it is very big. There's no mercy to try and resurrect or offset it. Lip's still going for it, putting in that consistent damage from afar. Hanbin is getting very, very low here. Needs to be careful. One headshot might just do the business. Fearless so low, actually. And they need to try and find a way to get Lip off this perch.
Or they can just deny... Oh, well, I was going to say, or they can just try and deny him angles, but Shanghai is so good at working around that. They know that Dallas are just bunched up into corners, trying not to poke their heads out into Lip's sightlines, and so they just get mocked up. Another excellent point A take with a strategy that their opposition can't really deal with.
And that's the battle that we were talking about between these two teams, the adapting, running these different compositions, and throwing these strategies out and forcing the other to adapt is what we were really hoping for with this series, I think. Shanghai certainly want to be making Dallas do that.
Lip is going to push up here and try and get value out of the Widowmaker, but at this point he now becomes pretty susceptible to Doha or Hanbin trying to push forwards. Okay, and Izzy
not many
right at the beginning as well. Yeah, Field has used an Ana boost here, so they have forced something out, I suppose. But I don't think Shanghai are really going to be able to commit to this with the Widowmaker long term. As soon as the Widow closes the gap, you're so squishy.
Yeah, you either have to be playing really close up to get the angles on the Widowmaker here. So he's going to actually switch over to the Reaper, which is an... Okay, no, just changing his mind. Just joking. Playing the Tracer instead, which makes a lot more sense, and trying to keep Sparkle, I think, in check to a degree. Another aggressive defense here by Dallas, just trying to hold them off at the choke point. Pulse Bomb's laid down. Izzy holding onto this Nano Boost. Has it available if he wants to try and turn the fight, potentially, but they're just waiting for now, trying to find him, poke and prod and look for a weakness. The initiation comes in from Fate. He's very close to the Primal. Has eventually built it up. Has to get out of there. Forced to use it. He was falling too low. Didn't opt to use it. And Dallas are going in with double Primal Rages with the duplicate on top of this one. The backline is just being shredded at the moment.
There are 3 primals on the field right now, Brent, and my word, the efficacy from Fate was just simply not there. He's going to re-engage right now, though, with the Nano Boost. That's perfect coordination from Fate and Lip to take down Fielder.
Yep, and they're finding a lot of these key pickoffs here. Dallas still opting to take this fight at the initial choke point. Trying to cut them off here. Void so low. You can see Hanbin just backing off to the Mega Health Pack. He's being chased down, though.
They don't have a tick yet,
wins that 1v1. They don't have a tick. Finally gonna commit some bodies to the point, so they're gonna start to get some progress on the board. But Dallas are now starting to get a couple of players online. 92% and counting. They have to contest this. The Nano Boost is now gonna be applied over to Fearless. Lip. No one's really kept this guy in check whatsoever, and he has been keeping his team in it with a lot of crucial pickoffs on the Tracer, a role that he, like you said, Josh, doesn't typically play. Bionade is going to keep him out of it, and Fearless still alive, now trying to cut them off at the choke once more.
This was a fantastic disengage and re-engage from the Shanghai Dragons, but they've allowed Fearless the time and space to be able to get his ult up online, and that is all they needed. Just another Primal, and he's there tearing the battlefield apart.
It's ridiculous. Oh, the back up, the back up. That was cheeky. That was cheeky. He almost got away with that.
Hey, Brent, though, this is another problem with the Shanghai Dragons, is that Lee Jae Gon, whenever these fast, scrappy fights happen, he goes Lucio because it's a comfort pick and he can get back to the fights quickly. But then it sticks them on this Lucio. Sound Barrier could be effective here, though. This is one of the maps where it's not going to hurt them too much. But overall, Lucio is just less effective than Brig in these fights. It's why people don't run him with the dives at the moment.
And he's built up this Sound Barrier, has it available. Doha using the duplicate again onto the Winston. You're going to see a Primal built up so quickly here. It's going to be used. Doha falling low enough that he wants to just stay into the fight. Digigon being forced off as well. Dallas is trying to kite this back and buy a little bit of time. Tanks are really causing a lot of issues. Fearless falling so low. Doha goes down, and now the Sound Barrier engaged. This is what Shanghai were waiting for. It connects onto enough targets. They're going to be using the health to try and lead this fight in. The rally is going to be pushed back. Fate using that Primal Sparkle, trying to clutch it up. He does take out Izzy with the Pulse Bomb, but is it going to be enough? Dallas, they're just trying to hold on to this one, but Shanghai, they only need a tick here, Josh.
But Fearless has his Primal again. It just feels like there's always a Primal on the field. Dallas are going to use that timing to be able to get more spawners in. That is an enormous bio grenade from Izzy. Caught onto Sparkle, Doha, Fielder, and it just allows Shanghai to mop stuff up.
Massive plays happening. Flutter's going to be forced out the duplicate, though. We've moved over to the Ana, the sticky bombs, the beam. It's way too much for Hanbin. The 2K, the self-destruct helping, assist coming out from Jexa. The Lucio's on the field just trying to put in the work. And now Hanbin's still holding on. The kill's still flowing now for Shanghai. They still want to take this. They're still fighting this, but Dallas are getting the spawners back. And minutes have been bought off the clock now. 93%, they're no closer to the goal, but they don't want to give this one up. Lip still holding onto this pulse bomb. We've seen magic from him in the past. We need to see it again. The aggressive approach from Dallas. The stick is going to connect. Soundbite from Lee Jae Gong. That might just be the health they need to try and take this fight further forward. Doha does go down, but Fearless also falling low. This should be it. Surely the Shanghai Dragons have found enough now.
It's gotta be. Sparkle mopped up, a minute on the clock. They would love to be able to get it with a bunch of time remaining. And Shanghai, they're not gonna be denied.
Holy moly. I mean,
1
that
minute,
is
but
just...
They essentially donate an extra second to the Dallas Fuel's time bank too. Look, it was at 3:22. That's already good. Now you've given them 3:23. At least you captured though, because that was looking dangerous there. Not just because of Fearless, although I do love giving him a lot of credit for this, but Doha is building up these duplicates so quickly. And then the effect that he is actually getting out of Winston is enormous. Doha is actually being incredibly effective on this defense on Echo, and he has been throughout the entire tournament so far. He's really been a core player for them, and it's something that Shanghai are really struggling to get the same kind of value out of Fate and Fleta.
It's so interesting commentating, I suppose, like teams like Dallas that never want to give up, and they're so good at getting that stall off at the near end, because at any moment, you never know, they might just be able to turn it around with
I mean, the boop into the self-destruct was pretty much it. It's kind of crazy that didn't turn things around in their favor, because when you're playing that stall, you're just waiting for a big moment to turn the tide like that. And still, the Shanghai Dragons persevered.
Yeah, the pulse bombs from Lip, the Bionates from Izayaki, just keeping their team into us. Shanghai are not out. Not yet. 1 minute on the clock is what they're working with. They're going to be on the attacking side once more. And again, opting for this Winston dive comp. The Tracer with the Echo.
Yeah, Mirror's
going to be taking a lot of damage. This time, yeah, it is a mirror, so not going to be running.
Look at that punish
of the Widow. That is a huge punish onto Fate. He just didn't even have time to think.
Hanbin boops Fate out of his own position, so he knocks him onto the low ground, knocks him out of his own Winston bubble, and then Doha is there for the punish. That's the same stuff that the Shanghai Dragons have been doing to a lot of their teams that they've been playing against. Void and Hanbin just so good at punishing the enemy main tank, and Fate seems more susceptible than Fearless right now.
Bob is going to be used in the choke. 16 seconds remaining for Shanghai. Last-ditch effort. These sticky bombs are just stopping them from pushing forward. The duplicate already built up by Doha, by the way, with the damage he's outputting. The nano boost, it's got to do something. Fate's going to be the recipient of it. Moves to the point because he has to touch. He has to touch it
with the nano.
The nano is completely wasted here, but Shanghai don't want to give this one up. The choke point is still being fought over. Fearless ended up going down here. Doha didn't get too much done with the duplicate either. The beam, though, that should do quite a lot of work, and Fate will not be able to withstand it. Sticky bombs once more. That's going to do that job. Izayaki falling before you can get too much more done, and the self-destruct just to push them away will mean that the Shanghai Dragons are not going to be walking away with even a single tick.
Not one. And something I want to give so much credit to Dallas for, too, are these counter dives that they keep setting up. When Fate jumped in with the nano boost, sometimes they'll try and punish Fate, but not really when he has a nano online, not when he has the primal online. In those instances, the Dallas Fuel are going for counter dives. So because Fate is so tanky at that moment, they're like, yeah, just ignore Fate. Let's all push forward into the choke point instead and take this fight as the Shanghai Dragons backline is trying to utilize that space that Fate has provided for them. And the combination of Fearless and Doha just crushed them there. It wasn't necessarily that they got all of the picks that they needed, but they separated the Shanghai Dragons into two separate positions, with only Fate and Lip on the point, who are easily mopped up, and then the rest of them in the choke point, where they're pretty much useless. Separating and driving a wedge through a team like that is so good, because the timing is very precise for Dallas. And at this point, they've set themselves up to go 2-0 up in the series. It would be a monumental defense here for Shanghai to do the same.
Yeah, we'll see if they're capable of doing so. I mean, both of these teams have been so rapid on their approach, but the Dallas Fuel were quick in spotting the openings. And it was Doha with the neutral hacks, setting himself up into position as well, just catching it onto one target that really opens it up for Dallas. Got to see some big things from now. Doha is, you can see him skirting around. He's actually already in the high ground, I believe, on the left-hand side. So he's trying to set up in position for a hack here.
And it's much more controlled from Dallas. They're going to take the Mega Pack area. They're going to play slowly. With ults online, they're pretty much guaranteed to close this one out. So worst case scenario would be to feed Shanghai and just allow them complete control and give them a bunch of free damage. As long as they play slowly and calculatedly, they'll be good.
Well, the dive comes in now. Shanghai having to drop
Izzy
off the high ground. A lot of damage onto Hanbin. And one of the things they're doing is they're actually kind of man-marking Doha, stopping him from getting in. Big Bayonade. He's going to catch onto Izzyaki. Void has a lot on his plate to try and shut down a lot of this approach here. And look at the damage being put in. Sparkle will get brought down. He's playing the Echo for them. Has to be healed up here. But they're doing a good job of trying to shut down Doha before he even gets through the choke point.
Yep, they've done a fantastic job of that so far. Doha only up to 55%, while there's ults up on board for everybody else. EMP is really fast to generate, but it's better once you can get in position, which is why the defenders normally have an advantage in that sense. Izzyaki manages to pick off Sparkle as they come through the choke. That's enormous because it stops their momentum without Shanghai having to invest any ults. This is starting to get a little bit dangerous. 2 minutes on the clock and Doha only at 70%. If Shanghai can keep this momentum rolling.
An aggressive defense. Shanghai, you can see the nano boost onto Fate. They were just trying to get a pick off with it. They will be rewarded with one. Jexa goes down, just going to disengage now, and Fate has that Primal now to start rotating around the ultimates. And you're right, Josh, it is starting to get a little bit scary with a minute 30 on the clock. Doha still has not built up this EMP. They're doing such a good job. I think it's Void as well, always pre-firing these corners to take him out of his invisibility.
Yeah, Void and Lee Gon just kind of slamming his flail around. Fleder got hacked there just for a moment, but it looks like the peel is out, and Lip with a pulse bomb on the back.
That's massive. Lip with a 2K! He kills the backline, takes them out with the help of the rest of his team. Fate now going to be using this Primal, and Dallas are like, we got to get out of here. We can't take this team fight. The D-Mech onto Hanbin. Hanbin forced to use the South-Destruct just to stay back into this. Or at least he doesn't want to, I guess, sacrifice. He doesn't want to run back to spawn and remech. Time is of the essence here. 45 seconds left now for Dallas. They have a lot of ultimates, but how are they going to use them to try and take this?
It's all on Doha. We need to see a nano boost applied probably over to Fearless, and Doha's EMP must be large. You can see his positioning there towards the back. He's down up at the bottom trying to look for an angle. Void found him!
EMP has to be out. It's a panic EMP, but is there to follow up? Yes, Fate will fall. Neutral hack onto Izzyaki, not going to be able to use the nano boost. And they're just trying to put the punishment now into Shanghai. Fleder has the duplicate available. The beam is not going to be reaching up into the skies. The nano boost is applying to Fleder. Is it enough damage? The duplicate. Fleder has to try and clutch this one now. 8 seconds remaining. Shanghai just being forced to play back to the point now. As the time is ticking down, the overtime, Doha caught! That's a shield bash into the boosters. The overtime going, they've already got 2 picks, and Dallas, they're just crumbling under the pressure right now. The Bayonade is going to catch onto Fearless. He's so low. Fielder out of position. It's done, it's dusted. There's not enough players left for Dallas to withstand this one. The Shanghai Dragons have pulled off something immense.
That is an unbelievable defense. How did that happen? That should not be allowed to occur. Absolutely ridiculous scenes. And Bren, that continues a bit of a streak that we've had going on as well. Shanghai, when they played against the Florida Mayhem, they drew on Hanamura. Shanghai, when they played against the Philadelphia Fusion, they drew on Volskaya. Shanghai are just making sure that they draw on all assault maps right now against all of the teams that they play against. They don't like to win, they don't like to lose, they're just going to call the map even and we'll move on to the next. Don't worry about it, it never happened.
I got to give some immense credit, I think, for Void in particular. That guy was just doing such a good job of shutting down Doha, but the series is not over yet. It's been prolonged ever so slightly. We're going to be heading to a short break. On the other side of it, of course, the series will be continuing, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home, or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Hi, folks. Radical Hone here. The fine people down at the Overwatch League are offering you a deal that you are not gonna want to miss out on. Right now, for a limited time only, we've got tons of these Overwatch League perks. Jimmy down at shipping must have put a couple of extra zeros at the end of the order. We got so many Overwatch League perks, this roof's gonna buckle. Watch out, Jimmy. The boy's sweet, but if brains were leather, well, he'd have about enough to saddle a June bug. Just click right down here, connect your YouTube account to your Battle.net account, and by God, you're gonna start seeing these league tokens stack up higher than a Georgia pine. I've got legendary skins, I've got Overwatch League skins, and more to come. So come on, folks. Connect those accounts, get those perks, and let's make sure Jimmy here gets to keep his job. I tell you, his brain rattles around like a BB in a boxcar. That boy could flunk a blood test. There's a tree stump in Louisiana with a higher IQ. He's so stupid, he's my uncle and my brother.
Overwatch League perks. They make everything better.
Welcome back from the break, everybody, and taking a look at our power rankings of IBM Watson. You can see a lot of these players that we're seeing in this series right now in the top 10. Lip, Doha, and Spark are all competing amongst each other.
And interestingly, the 2020 League MVP absent from this list. And even more interestingly, I think, Lip, who is so notorious for his Sombra, is not performing as well as Doha. We looked at the stats earlier on, the desk took a look at them, and Lip was number 1, Doha number 2 in terms of hack assists, but it's actually been Lip's Tracer, if anything, where he's been able to have the largest impact. He's frequently in the backlines.
Tracer's so good.
Yeah, he's getting pulse bomb sticks, he's taking out the backline 1v2 at times. So
how many times, Josh, how many times have we been watching like the Winston POV, and it's like the poor observers, they're just getting their ankles broken because they're like, Lip just suddenly gets a 2k in the backline, just kills the supports.
It's so unexpected. Yeah, it really is. It's unexpected. Lip has this great sense, actually, for the timing on when to go in and try and assassinate the supports, especially when he has that pulse bomb active, because then they really have to respect it, and it becomes much more of a threat. But that's not exactly how we thought this series would go. I thought it would be a real battle of the Sombras, but, you know, it's both of the teams adapting to each other. And talking about adaptation, Brent, we are headed to Blizzard World. My word, there's been a lot of stuff going around with the Dallas Fuel of Blizzard World recently.
As indeed. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Obviously, this one, this old chestnut here, Dallas Fuel versus Houston. This was just the other week, getting that the second best time, the second fastest time on Blizzard World. Now, the other day, they weren't looking as hot. Obviously, compositions play into this, but definitely no slouches when it comes to this particular pick. I think out of all the maps, probably, you know, Shanghai are probably smart to take them here onto Blizzard World as well. You don't really want to be taking them to Kings Row, for example, or even Eichenwald.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of the APAC teams' hands are kind of forced when they play against Dallas, and even the Florida Mayhem, because you don't want to be taking them to rush maps like Kings Row or Eichenwald. So instead, we head here to Blizzard World. And Bren, I love that you brought up the game that the Dallas Fuel played against Chengdu yesterday, because it played out incredibly differently, and it was down to those compositions. Dallas did not have an answer for the double shield comp that Chengdu brought out to play there. And that was... It completely changed the dynamic of those two teams. Whereas in all of the other maps, Dallas Fuel were catching the Chengdu Hunters off guard. On this map, Chengdu brought something really new and special to the table, and Dallas just simply couldn't react. When Sparkle brought out his Symmetra, they just blew up the teleporter immediately, and Sparkle could do nothing about it. So that's what I'm interested to see today. Does the Shanghai Dragons have something similarly creative like that to counter Dallas? Or instead, as it appears to be, are we going to see pretty much mirror matchups and Shanghai just thinking that they can outplay the Fuel?
And that is going to be the question, I think, as we head into this one. We'll find out soon enough here. Shanghai on the defense going to be running, of course, Lip on the Tracer. This guy has been so dominant thus far in this series. And Dallas just opting to scout a little bit. They're going to be making some changes, actually. So the Symmetra came up, but they're going to be using it to TP back, and now they're going to be running Fearless and having the double bubble here, but with the Tracer and the Sombra.
Doha was trying to slink in behind there. I think he got detected at some point though and had to leave again. So this is going to be a similar approach, actually. There we go again. They managed to break the Translocator and punish Doha. This is going to be a real theme. What a big Bionade as well into the backline from Izayaki. That's just going to push the Dallas Fuel back. But there is so much responsibility on Void and Lee Jae-gon in particular to find Doha as he comes in through these avenues. You can see Fate doing it now, just using his Tesla cannon to try and catch people as they route through.
Izayaki again, another two-man Bionade. Doha gets caught out.
Once more.
Must have spotted the Translocator. Yeah, Lip just finding these opportunities to strike, and a minute has been burnt off the clock. Izayaki very close to this nano boost as well now. Going to be using this to hold them off the choke point. And Shanghai have got a pretty good read on how to stop this one, and now the nano boost is employed, completely separating Hanbin from the rest of his team. Wasn't able to do much. Primal Rage has been built up now by Fate. Wants to lead it in, but Lip is also just going to be piling on the damage. 3 kills for him. Oh my goodness.
This has so far been a fantastic defense from Shanghai. They have found Doha every time he's tried to go behind them, and he's only at 53% of his EMP after 2 minutes. That's absurd. And that aggressive play there with the nano boost was just perfect to be able to crush them in the choke. Now it's Fearless's turn though. If Doha can't build EMP, well, stuff it. Fearless will just win the game with his Primal Rage perhaps.
They're trying to boot Fate back off of the choke
There's a
point.
whip shot.
Sleep comes off. Whip shot, yeah. A lot of stall coming out here. Either side sending in their main tanks, trying to find some value. Fleder having to fly back to the point to try and deal with a couple of these players. Fearless as well with the Primal Rage. Does have the Bionade applied, so we can't actually receive too much healing. It's eventually going to fade away, but again, Lip is the one who comes up big. So many times now. Pulse Bomb laid down, finding so much work, and now they can capitalize, jumping on the rest of the players as Dallas try and escape. Doha did manage to build up the EMP this time, but they're not going to be able to survive this onslaught.
Enormous credit to the backline of the Shanghai Dragons. Lee Jae-gon hit a really nice whip shot to deny Fearless any kind of value with the nano boost. And then when the Primal Rage came out, Izayaki lands a biotic grenade, and they're just there to peel. The whole of Shanghai playing extremely well defensively right now, combining defense with aggression when they need to, and always making sure they know where the Sombra is. But now the EMP is online. Doha, he's been spotted again actually. Doha forced to translocate out again by Lip.
Well, this is a reoccurring theme that we're seeing. Sparkle had to touch the point just to pull them back here. But look at the damage that's being outputted. Big EMP is going to connect onto a lot of the targets. Self-destruct to push them back. So Shanghai trying to operate as well, using ultimates to try and peel them back now. Sparkle might be able to get a kill, at least set it up now. But Lip again just dominating. This guy is feeling it. An absolutely absurd performance so far. You can just feel that he's on another level at the moment when it comes to his Tracer play.
That is ridiculous. Shanghai Dragons got hit with, I think, a 5-man EMP. Izayaki nano-boosted Lee Jae-gon to keep the backline alive, and they sacrifice Fate, keep everyone else up, and then Lip just tears through people when they overextend. Dallas Fuel, they are not coming up against some crazy composition right now. They're just getting outplayed.
We see now, look at this, Primal Rage being built up by Fleder as he duplicates, stunned up. Might be able to build it, does just get it off now, and that's going to be disrupting them even more. The nano boost onto Fearless. Can anybody touch the point? The overtime is going to start to go, and Fate did get brought down. Fleder switching over to the Echo to try and get back to the point faster, but his choke point is being locked up once more. Fearless with the Primal Rage, and that is a death sentence in close quarters. Yep, not going to be surviving that one in that close room. Oh my god! What is that?
That is absolutely nasty. That's what Dallas were waiting for the entire time. The engagement itself was really good though too. They were able to punish Shanghai there and push them back away from the point, especially Fate. Taking him down early has been the key to Dallas Fuel's victory, but they're on the ropes right now. There's 2 minutes remaining and they barely captured point 1.
Sticky bombs getting laid. Doha just trying to spam it out, build up that duplicate as fast as possible. And Lip just trying to take the 1v1. Just zipping past actually with the pulse bomb. He's in a bit of trouble here, no recourse. So Sparkle could try and hunt him down and take the fight. Self-destruct over onto the high ground. It's going to push Shanghai into them. Primal Rage has to be used by Fate now. He wants to keep this fight going for them. Has to try and stay alive, but look at the damage just being outputted. It's so hard to withstand that kind of pressure. He's going to back off to the rest of his team, and Void sends in the self-destruct, and it gets enormous work done.
That's a fantastic engage there. You saw Sparkle choosing that opportunity to flank around the side, but Shanghai were too fast for him. They go in, they decimate the Dallas Fuel, and now are we going to see a spawn camp?
Wow.
Lip punishes Sparkle. Shanghai, if they're able to forward hold here and apply pressure to Dallas and force some ults out, that would just be incredible for them.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
See,
there we go, Doha.
Doha.
That is such a
wants
deep
to
lead.
lead it in. He's going to try and push them back, but they're still on the high ground. Lip ends up going down to Sparkle, so eventually Lip is finally taken out. Fearless wants to just try and trade positions now, as he's going to be trying to push them off of the high ground. Shanghai not willing to give this up just yet, but they've lost Flatter in this fight. That's going to be no duplicate available to them. Shanghai just opting to try and disengage, but this is classic Shanghai that we've seen so far. They love these scrappy fights. They're going to keep trying to fight this for as long as possible.
Fearless with the Primal Rage now, putting pressure on the backline. Again, Izzyaki, Nano Boost, Lee J gone, and they pop the rally too. Shanghai are keeping this backline so tanky. What can Fearless possibly do with a Primal against that?
20 seconds remaining. Lip's alive, he's in your backline, and look at that! Just unbelievable, tearing through them. Now going to be trying to push Sparkle away, but the damage is definitely being done as it stands Shanghai. So many openings being found from them. Lip doesn't even need the pulse bomb, just chasing, pushing Fielder back through the choke. The sleep dart's not going to be connecting. The overtime did connect. I believe that was Fearless who had to actually sacrifice himself to try and keep it going, but it's not enough. And Shanghai, well, I mean, everybody, Josh, I will say, I think was predicting Dallas to be the favorites in this matchup, but Shanghai have turned it on its head.
They certainly have. After pulling out a ridiculous point A hold on Anubis, they really feel like they've got the momentum back in this series. And it's not just momentum, that's a very vague, intangible term, and it brings up ideas of them just being excited or something like that. They figured out a plan here. These nano boosts in the backline of the Legion are so weird, but so specific to stop Fearless being able to get value. And Fate's been able to survive much longer, not punished in the same ways that he was earlier on in this series too. And also the focus onto Doha has been pretty extreme. Doha has been neutralized over the not just this map, but again that point A defense on Anubis. They were all over him like a rash. Doha couldn't do anything on Sombra.
Victory.
They've
just
really
completely
like
spotting him out.
Yeah,
it's absurd to think, because Doha now, he's in a position where Dallas, they would love to be playing these Sombra compositions. It's potentially Doha's best role that he plays. He might be the best Sombra in the world. But Shanghai are finding opportunities to not only just, again, pre-fire, take him out of the invisibility, but it's completely disabling him out of these fights. He can't build up the EMP whatsoever. So now, they forced him into this comp to try and match them when it comes to like the Echo and the Tracer. And Lip's dominating, Fleder's dominating. It's all coming online for Shanghai now on the attacking side of things. 4 minutes. It's not far that they have to try and get the objective.
But Dallas Fuel's aggressive defenses are normally extremely good too. So for all that we're praising Shanghai Dragons here, Dallas are normally really good in these positions as well. Can they punish Fearless? Can they punish Hanbin? A lot of damage on both of the tanks early on here, but Fate is the first to fall.
Fate goes down early. That's going to be pretty big for Dallas to try and get this forward hold. They did get the D-Mech onto Hanbin, which is almost as good as a kill in a lot of sense. Take them out of these fights.
Wow!
Oh, with the stickies though!
That's crazy.
Legion goes down.
He just ate those. He looked at them and he ate them straight to his face. That was wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe no shield. It's a bit difficult to say, but Lip is still alive. And a little bit earlier into this fight, he did bring down Sparkle as well. The combined effort, the stick is going to connect. I think it was stopped in the end by the shield. Nano Boost utilized here, but
I'm pretty sure Fielder just nano-jects it to keep him alive from that pulse bomb, and he still managed to go down. I mean, yeah, that's a kind of crazy play there, but it doesn't save the Dallas Fuel. They are not playing that aggressively here, Brent. They are constantly on the back foot. They are backpedaling, and they look like they're losing a little bit of confidence too. Fearless tries to jump up top to dominate the high ground, and Void boots him back off. Hanbin, though, is right there, and Hanbin and Void right now are just posturing for the high ground control.
We'll see. Sparkle lays into the pulse bomb. It's not going to be finding too much here. The beam from Doha, though, does get a lot of work done, and Sparkle just trying to stay alive. Primal Rage. Fate wants to try and get some work done, and look at that comboing again with Lip. This dynamic duo just been absolutely tearing them to pieces.
Oh my word.
This is ridiculous. And again, the pace that they're playing at, Dallas just cannot withstand it. They do have a lot of ultimates to try and hold them off here, but it's getting so tense. Look at that objective. They don't have to push it far.
And they have 4.5 minutes in the bank. Dallas are going to have to come up with something beautiful here. They have all the ults to be able to set themselves up. But again, Shanghai are the ones controlling the tempo.
Doha has to use the duplicate there just to survive from the self-destruct. Falling very low, trying to build up the Primal Rage, being pressured pretty heavily, but the heals come through. Shield Bash does get the Primal off in the end, and now pushing them backwards. A Sleep Dart, though. Fearless with the Nano Boost now is going to be utilized onto him. Going to see what Fearless can do, just trying to dodge a lot of the stuns and the Sleep Darts coming his way. Wants to try and get some work done, and Fade is going to be the one who goes down to that self-destruct that was sent in. Dallas holding on for now, investing a ton of ultimates to try and do it.
And it looks like they've stabilized for the moment. Shanghai don't have that many tools to come back into this, but whenever Lip has a Pulse Bomb online, it feels like they're gonna be guaranteed a pick. The backline of the Dallas Fuel, hello. That's a very weird timing, actually, to go for a Pulse Bomb onto Void, because there was no extra pressure from the rest of his team to be able to capitalize on it. So, a little odd there, but nevertheless, now Lip uses his Pulse Bomb, and it is a guaranteed pick onto Fielder again.
Doha's got to try and come up clutch, though, to try and offset that. At Lip, again, the backline is decimated. How many times have we seen this? Doha does come up with a response. It's adequate. 3 kills, I mean, more than adequate. It's almost an understatement. He is going to be saving his team once more, but so many times we've seen Lip. If he builds up the post bomb, you just never know when he's going to be able to utilize it and just turn the team fight around.
Well, this time he's gone down, so they're going to have to wait for him to get back online before they can access that kind of clutch potential again. By the way, it's not just Lip getting into the backlines. Once he lands that first Pulse Bomb, he's getting Izzyaki to throw Bionades into the backline as well. So Lip is being able to take down the first one and then kill the second one without any healing potential. And that is happening so consistently that you see Lip Pulse Bomb the first backline player and then get the second one with an assist from Izzyaki.
Dive attempts comes through. Again, look at this coordination of Fate and Lip. Sleep Dart has to be used, but it's not enough. Fielder will fall. Void demech. There's a fight being split currently on 2 fronts. Shanghai are pushing the cart, getting a bit of pressure into it, but the tank line of Dallas do not want to give this one up. They're going to bring down Fate. Probably going to have to reset this one backwards. Shanghai getting a little bit scrappy. It's how they like it, to be fair, but they needed something a little bit cleaner to try and close this.
And I'm actually impressed with Dallas Fuel being able to stabilize, because not only did they win that initial team fight, they've actually been aggressive again in terms of putting the pressure on the Shanghai Dragons when they approach. And now Dallas have got their ult cycle back online once more. They have another nano boost that they can engage with Fearless, another duplicate that they can try and clutch things around with.
Doha sends in the sticky bombs. Lip has to do something here.
Okay.
Got a minute 30 now on the clock. Tries to go for the recall.
I think they accidentally nano boosted Jexe in the middle of that fight. I believe it was supposed to go into Hanbin to keep him alive.
Fearless with the Primal Rage just to stay alive into this one. Lip is just kiting him backwards, still has the Pulse Bomb ready and waiting. Fate, though, has the nano boost, but it's not going to be enough. Lee Jae-gon goes down. And a minute off the clock, Shanghai, they need to decide, do they want to cut this off? Losing Fate, I think they might have to. Go back to the drawing board a little bit here.
Yeah, and I really want to see Shanghai try and take control of the high ground. It's something they haven't tried to do so far. They've been going for point pressure, they've been going for deep dives into the backline of the Dallas Fuel, but they haven't just tried to take it slowly and occupy this high ground, push Fearless, push Hanbin away, get the supports into very vulnerable positions before they execute their dive. Look at how much Dallas are just dominating this high ground control. You have to deal with that, but you only have 30 seconds now.
And Sparkle is keeping Lip in check to make sure that he can't make any plays happen. Fearless with the nano boost. This time the team, the follow-up is theirs. Doha uses the duplicate. It's double Winston. Action being utilized to just push them away. Izzyaki does catch Doha, though, as he was taken out of the duplicate. It's the 1-for-1 trade. Now Fate with the primal of his own. Lip again, the post bomb, finding Fielder. It's ridiculous the amount of kills this guy gets. And now he's supporting the rest of his team. They want to try and get this D-Mech now into Hanbin, potentially chasing him out of it, trying to keep Sparkle as well out of the fight, pushing them through. Shanghai finding a lot of opportunities now, and the damage is way too much. It's cleaving through them. The self-destruct comes through. Fleder has to use the duplicate, but nobody can touch it. And in the end, the Shanghai Dragons scrape it by, and they take away the win here on Blizzard World, evening it up.
That's insane. How did nobody touch at the end there? There was a Winston jumping to the point. There was an Echo who was potentially able to touch, and Sparkle as well. What a way for a defense to fall, Brent. What a way. That looked like Shanghai Dragons in the early part of that attack were easily going to mop it up. They had 4.5 minutes in the time bank, and then Dallas dominated high ground control, dominated them with the aggression, were wrecking their backline, and then in the final moments to have it all just disappear away from you, vanished. That's a heartbreaker round. That's a heartbreaker map for Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many back and forths. Winnable for Shanghai with the massive time back. I mean, you said it perfectly. And Dallas just not coming up with the goods in the end. Just about scraping it through. And again, the series continues. It's 1-1 apiece. And we're going to see on the other side of the break just how this series is really going to be progressing. We're getting deep into it now. We'll find out what the Dallas Fuel are going to be doing to try and combat this one. If they can come back after that absolute booming that occurred on this map. If they've got a way to shut down Lip. We'll find out soon enough. Do not go anywhere.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game.
All right, Zoe, get ready for the Pringles Live segment in 3, 2, 1, go Zoe.
Welcome back, everyone. It is now time for our Pringles Bold Predictions. Danny, what you got for us?
Scorching chili and lime.
Danny?
Ooh, pizza?
Danny?
Danny?
Ooh, on ranch.
Danny.
Barbecue on jalapeno on honey mustard.
Danny.
All the Pringles
Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of all the Pringles. Stacked on top of.
Perfect. Great job, everyone.
Pringles. Stay in the game. Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Right, so a bit about Watchpoint Pride.
So what is Watchpoint Pride? I woke up quite early on a Sunday morning and the literal first thought that popped into my head was, why isn't there an LGBTQ+ content creator network for Overwatch? Hi, my name is Cameron, but most people know me as Oak. I head up everything here at Watchpoint Pride, and I am, of course, a Mercy main.
Hi, I am Nicole, or Nika Todd, founder of Watchpoint Pride, and I am a Junkrat main.
The goal of this network is to create a space where all of these creative people can get together, grow, but also spotlight the talent that is within our community. So much of our relationship is me messaging Nika at ungodly hours being like, I have this really good idea.
And I'm like, how many Google Drives will I need to make?
Nika and I were working out how we wanted it to run, and I was at my boyfriend's place, and he sat down and penciled out a logo, which was like this rocket with the pride colors as the flames coming out of the rocket. And I think it was that moment where I was like, oh no, we're ready to launch now.
For me, cosplay is the sort of main thing I contribute to Overwatch League related content. My favourite cosplay for Overwatch is Tracer, of course, as you can see.
For me, content creation in Overwatch started with British Sign Language. So I'm hard of hearing, and for me, sign language is my second language. So the first kind of videos that I kind of produced was me showing the signs for the different heroes in Overwatch and the teams. And really kindly, some of the teams from League, London Spitfire, retweeted that, and kind of my content got more out there.
What initially drew me to Overwatch was the animated shorts that were released before the game even came out, and I just loved everything about the art direction and how colourful it was, how unique the characters were, and it just kind of sucked me in. Our best is us is a great slogan because the league wouldn't be as big as it is without the fan base.
It's about camaraderie and coming together and making friends and connections.
Even though we maybe don't support the same things, getting together and talking about the league still brings out the best in us.
The best is the members of our community shining and being happy and having a platform to express their creativity.
Watchpoint Pride is a home to me.
It's just a group of content creators where you can just be unashamedly yourself without fear of judgment.
Feeling of the common ground, not just in a game we love, but who we are as people.
And to me, Watchpoint Pride is my pride.
If you're looking to get involved in Watchpoint Pride, then we'd love to hear from you. You can follow us on Twitter at Watchpoint Pride.
Coming together to create, share and support each other is Watchpoint Pride, and our best is us.
It's family, it's community, it's working together, and it's Watchpoint Pride. She's not got a pretty face. Yeah, that's us.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. And yeah, one player individual that we were highlighting so much during the series so far has been Lip. And statistically, the guy's putting up numbers that we really haven't seen in quite some time. I mean, these are ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely absurd. He is not just getting 16 final blows per 10 minutes on Tracer in this match, but he's also getting an enormous amount of solo kills. And solo kills are where someone else doesn't do damage to that target within X amount of seconds. So he really is just getting a huge amount of kills on his own, especially in the backline. And then the pulse bomb attach rate is 60% right now, which means every time he has a pulse bomb online, and it's one of the fastest charging ults in the game, it's attached to somebody almost 2/3 of the time. And so 2 out of every 3, basically, you're going to be able to get a kill or get a huge amount of damage that's incredibly important. And those are normally going on backline targets and netting him an extreme amount of picks for the team. By the way, Lip isn't really known as a Tracer player, right? This isn't like watching somebody like Yaki or Striker or Prophet or even Fleta play this role. Lip is somebody who hasn't really had to play this for the Shanghai Dragons because that's been Fleta's job, and it's not even a role where I knew he was this good at all. I thought he might be serviceable, but he is pounding right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely a narrative that we were going with, is like this idea of like players playing these roles that they're uncomfortable with, like Spark or like Lip. But it's just been pure domination from Lip's point of view. I mean, you can tell the guy is feeling himself because he's getting so aggressive, especially in Blizzard World. There were moments where he would just be wrecking, decimating, and he just dives even further into the backline because he knows that he's confident in his ability to either get out or, you know, he's got the recall off cooldown or whatever. But the impact he's having, we really just got to highlight that because the numbers he's putting up were ridiculous, just absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And he's able to do it. A part of it as well is just his team supporting him effectively, allowing him to just really play off the back of it with him and Fate coordinating a lot of those dives. But it's been so crucial for them taking this this map away from the Dallas Fuel here, now evening up the series 1-1.
And let's take a look at the tournament bracket. The winner from this is going to advance into that final. And that is, I mean, that's a monumental victory. If you're able to get there, you're guaranteed second place, right? And that gives you $70,000 of prize money for the team and 2 bonus league points. That's essentially like you've got 2 free wins in the regular season. For a team like the Dallas Fuel, who came into this with only 2 league points, remember that they went 2-2 and were the 6th seed in North America. Those bonus points are incredibly important in such a competitive season. It really does mean the world for them. And somebody like Shanghai is expected to do very well over in APAC. So, you know, the bonus wins are great, but maybe not as important because you can be fairly confident in their success over the regular season. Dallas are peaking at the right time right now.
Yeah, they want to be getting these wins. You can see here from the tournament rewards, the money's nice, don't get me wrong. The money is nice, but the points is what's really going to be separating a lot of these teams from winning and losing overall when it comes to the end of the year, that overall playoffs that's going to be taking place. And that's what these tournaments are really here for, is to just try and essentially give teams like Dallas, who, you know, you might be finding the right footing in the moment at the end of the May Melee, but it matters not. You know, you get the points on the board, it all builds up into the standings, and you can climb that way as well. And yeah, it's a good system we got up, but it just really highlights how important it is for these teams to get this win, because you win this, you're guaranteeing yourself second place. I mean, that is definitely what you're looking for.
Our next map here is going to be Gibraltar. Of course, this is the pick of the Dallas Fuel, but we know that both of these teams are very confident when it comes to Gibraltar. We saw some ridiculous Gibraltar games yesterday. It was a bizarre map. We saw teams roll their way through it, get all the way to the end. We saw teams get full held on point A. It feels like anything in between is possible too. And these are 2 of the best teams that we have in the league are playing this map. They're going, probably Shanghai Dragons are going to be playing more of a pokey comp, with Dallas Fuel just going for the double bubble style, but that in itself sets up such an interesting clash of compositions.
Yes, I'm not really too sure what's going to be happening here with these teams as they're setting up, and that's been there's been a narrative the entire series long, hasn't it? Let's face it, it's interesting
hard
to see
to
how
predict.
these teams adapt. Yeah,
it's really hard to predict
difficult.
what comps they're going to run, because they are not just trying to play into their own strengths, but they're trying to play to their opponent's weaknesses as well. I don't think we're going to see a double shield setup, but that could... You actually do see people run the Orisa Hog on attack a little bit, just for the first couple of moments to see if they can catch someone off with a Halt Hook combo and burn down a Winston that gets too aggressive at the beginning. But I'm sure Fearless will be savvy to that too. It looks like the Dallas Fuel are going to be running the Tracer Sombra defense here, which this does allow them some pretty decent access to Lip if he's playing a Widowmaker, for example, or even an Ashe with the Mercy, which Shanghai have been playing a lot of recently.
Certainly have. We'll see how they do it. Shanghai, no funny business. Going to be going straight out the gate with the composition that they are intending to run. Okay. And a lot of pressure now because Doha is on the Sombra. Shanghai have been doing a very good job of trying to shut him down in these fights. A lot of fighting going on over this high ground control for now. Fleder, you can see him pre-firing these corners, and they've spotted Doha. They've caught him out again. This has been the win condition for Shanghai so much now in this series. Time and time again, catch him out of position. How are Dallas going to be responding with this?
Fearless got hacked in the middle of that too, so he could barely help his backline as they got dove. And Shanghai have done such an excellent job of being able to take this high ground control. Lip again with another manual hack onto Hanbin. At this point, his manual hacks are better than his EMPs because it's giving them these positions to be able to take control. Doha has swapped over to the Echo, so Echo Tracer now for the Dallas Fuel.
See the nano boost here onto Fearless to try and create a bit of space. He's hacked up.
It's been
Fearless doesn't want to overstep himself here. Yeah, he doesn't want to overstep, but now he's going to be leading into the back line, and that's comboed up with Sparkle as well. Izayaki will fall. Might be able to get the D-Mech here onto Void as he is being chased. And it's actually a little bit of pressure now onto Sparkle's shoulders, I think. There's no Tracer to try and match him in these 1v1s. He's got to be coming up with the goods now. So there's no one really to man-mark him in these situations.
Definitely. The pulse bomb situations, we've seen so many times people be able to stick them into the back line and turn around an unwinnable fight into a winnable one. There we go.
There you
He
go.
stuck it. Lee Jigon falls.
The caster blessing. It's a rare one indeed, but it worked out. Still, Shanghai want to be taking the fight in the server room. You can see the Primal Rage of Fate is not going to be getting too much done. Has to back out here. In fact, it's going to get chased down by Sparkle, and that's the advantage of having the Tracer. That's what it offers you. A lot of mobility to chase down some of those weak targets. Duplicate's used by Fleta here, and the EMP as well catches onto 4. Dallas could be in a lot of trouble here. They have to try and kite this one back. Fleta slept up, pushed back though, immediately woken up, and the Primal is getting immense value. Self-destruct's not going to be catching. Fleta being chased though, and that is going to be turned around. Over falling. Getting that capture in the nick of time.
Hello there, Isaiah.
My internet just died.
All right, the Shanghai Dragons now in control of this high ground. They've got a decent situation for themselves. Izayaki and Lee Jigon have got their ultimates set up. Dallas are looking to go for a nano boost engage here onto Fearless. I think Fearless already hacked though the beginning of this team fight, and these manual hacks, they just open up so much space when Fearless can't do what Fearless wants to do. Fate gets to run his own game all across the battlefield.
See a lot of pressure being applied.
Yeah, they were able to respond very quickly with Doha.
The aggression, they're just trying to catch a lot of these kills now into the choke point. Self-destruct as well, trying to push them back. Shanghai are caught into a corner. Might be able to get a kill, but a big Bionade of Izayaki is going to keep everybody alive. Healed up. Fearless very close to this Primal.
Yeah, really good response there, especially from Doha. His Echo was able to turn that around, and it strikes again. There we go. Fearless with the nano boost, jumps on top of Izayaki, and the coordination from Fearless and Doha has been just lovely on these aggressive defenses. How are Shanghai gonna, or rather, sorry, how are Dallas gonna deal with this though, as Lip gets his EMP up on board? He's forced out.
Look at this.
Doha again with another pick.
They're just playing full on with the chokes, not letting Shanghai get through again, and it's part of how you succeed, I think, on Gibraltar Point B here, is you don't want to let the team set up, and Dallas have control of the high ground in this defense. It becomes very difficult for Shanghai to try and fight. Look at Doha here. Just trying to spam through, Lip forced backwards, but he does have the EMP, and that's going to be... Ooh, that's going to be the key. Sparkle's trying to do a reasonable job of just taking him out of the invisibility. Oh my goodness.
That was close. Fate's got a Primal Rage here though, and again they're holding close to the doors, the entrances, the choke points. And that Fearless Doha synergy so far has just slammed the door shut in Shanghai's face.
Fate is in this Primal. Sparkle's just trying to get a lot of job done. What is that? The prediction. The post one laid down, and Izayaki just walked straight into this. Seen him putting in a lot of consistent damage. And the targets are just being focused now, one after the other. Shanghai not able to withstand it. And a minute now, a minute and a half roughly on the clock here for Shanghai to try and win this one. And again, still holding onto the CMP. They got the nano boost, they got the duplicate. A lot of tools to try and break open this hold that Dallas have, but yeah.
A lot of tools to defend as well, though, because this nano is going to apply to Fearless. Doha has a duplicate as well, and Shanghai are really going to struggle to get through the choke point. I'd like to see Lip go for some kind of solo EMP on Doha, for example. See if they can just burn him out.
Nano applied to Fleta here. And look at this, the duplicate onto the Devo, the defense matrix. It's eating up so much damage. Fleta though builds up the duplicate, now has the Primal, and wants to try and dislodge them. Great whip shot, pushes him away. Fleta, trouble a little bit, just trying to essentially force field off of the high ground. Shanghai, a lot of disruption being made. The South Destruct comes through as well, but won't get a kill. Shield bash Fleta, Bionade, he's taken out immediately, and Dallas have turned it on them.
And Dallas are just dominating right now. Fearless with another Primal Rage as well. Remember, this is the map where he set his league record for the most Primal Rage kills of all time. And Dallas look like they could easily set another one here as well. Shanghai have been totally locked out, shut out, doors slammed shut in their face. There's nothing they can do to break through here. Lip's EMPs, they've just been useless against the aggression and the tempo that Dallas are bringing.
Not many ults online for either team. Only the self-destruct for Hanbin, but maybe a neutral hack can open it up now for Lip. Shanghai, I've got to dig deep, searching for answers. Trying to push them through. You can see Hanbin just holding close because he knows you've got to come through this section. You've got to push me off. Bionade connects onto him, but again, straight back up there in their faces. Pushing them away to self-destruct. It's going to be used. They do have a bubble to hide into, but Dallas fighting over the point. Lip still alive. Just trying to track down the damage as the cart will move into the overtime now. Primal as well. Fate, look at that, doing a lot of work. Manages to separate himself away from Fielder. Takes him out of the team, and he might just get a second one here. But it's on. Someone's got to touch the payload. The overtime is definitely burning. Primal just about escaping out of there. The pulse bomb not working out for them, but the Shanghai Dragons, have they done it? Just about squeaking out this win. I don't think there's going to be a contest coming up from Dallas here. They have indeed. They broke through the initial choke point.
By the skin of their teeth, they take checkpoint B, and it all just comes down to a single team fight. Lip has built his way up to another EMP here as well. He was so crucial in being able to secure that fight. And Fate's taken down 2, just sandwiched inside the room. And even though he gives his life for it, Shanghai are going to keep this payload running. Dallas can't really hold a forward defense.
Oh, that falls. 1 minute left. They're just going to collect the rest of these kills.
Doha was really weak there, and he was forced to use his own duplicate to be able to stay alive. If they can punish him, this is such a big opportunity for Shanghai now.
They want to capitalize off this instantly. Waiting for the team to come back into it, and now Fate's going to be just holding the corner. You can see that League doesn't want to overstep himself. Just trying to hold and push away the positioning as the cart moves into place.
They have to push Fearless away. Fearless has a Primal Rage as well, so he's not going to be taken out easily. There's a hack, though, and they're trying to go onto everybody else. Hanbin comes in to peel, and a big EMP comes out.
Oh, they punish Lip, though, immediately to Bionade again. Rally to lead it in from Jexa. Dallas just holding them, again, pushing them into their spawn. Not giving up in the slightest. 15 seconds left for them. Shanghai, yeah, they've got a lot of ultimates, but how are they even going to touch the point?
It's got to be on Lip, right? If he can be able to get there in time, he looks like he's so far away. Perhaps Void is the man to do it. There's Lip with his Translocator, just touches.
They're going to try and contest this one. Lee Jae-gon goes down. Maybe stallable here. The Nano Boost applied down to Fate. Let's take a listen into the Dragons' comms in the final moments.
이거 이것점 같은 경우 그냥 트레로 바꿔서 거점 갈까? 내가?
강하게 빡세 날 거고.
근데 아니면은 앞라인을 밀고 오는 게 솔직히 너무 힘들어.
빡세긴 해.
근데 트레 해도 거점 말고는 앞.
Alright, Danny, what have you got for us?
I'm gonna be honest, Brent. I didn't hear anything. I didn't get any comms, so I am of no value right now. I do apologize, guys. I literally didn't hear anything. So, Brent and Josh,
Danny, neither did I, and I was hoping that was just on my end.
I honestly thought I messed up, so I was kind of panicking. But okay, thank God that I wasn't the one that messed up. Okay, anyways, hey, you guys are doing a great job. The game is fun. Go do it, guys. All right, I'll be back.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny. What an absolute legend.
I was wondering.
Small technical difficulty there.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the comments, and I was like, oh, I hope
maybe the people did hear the comms, chat. Brent. Maybe the people did hear the comms. Who knows? Yeah, I just called you chat. I'm too used to streaming.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
if you're a translator out there in the community, tweet us what you heard. If you guys at home heard it and you got the skills to translate, then by all means, take a clip of that and put your own translation on top of it, because we had a couple of small tech issues there with that. But really, what we have to focus on here is how good the defense was from the Dallas Fuel. Yes, they ended up losing checkpoint B, and they're going to be a little bit upset about that. But in all aspects of their defense, they were able to use that aggression to stop Shanghai getting any momentum. And now they have a chance to build that momentum themselves.
We'll see just how capable they are of doing so. Lip again is on the Sombra here, so just trying to play off the fact that Dallas are really being forced to play Doha on the Echo, but Doha is honestly doing a very reasonable job on the roll. Fate being punished heavily, has to be essentially playing around this corner so that he can withstand a lot of the damage coming his way. And Dallas are getting this car at least a bit of progress underneath the car wash area. It's a very slow going here. Doha is so low, might get chased down, but now the high ground's going to start to get contested by both these teams. Shanghai just trying to push them off. The sleep dart of Izayaki will be missing. Sparko's job is essentially to try and shut down Lip. Lip, again, it's not a matchup he should really be winning in the end, but forces the recoil out of Sparkle. Now Sparkle looking for even more opportunities.
Fate went for a counter dive in the front line as well. He had the nano boost applied to him. Bionaded!
Wow.
Gets taken out. Doha's Echo has just been phenomenal. Ever since swapping away from the Sombra, Doha has done so much for the Dallas Fuel.
He's putting in the damage, putting in the work. Shanghai, though, close to this EMP and the Primal. Two big teamfight winning ultimates. And effectively rotating them, they might be able to close something out here on the defense. We've seen a lot of teams get held out in this position. Lip looks like he's setting up for the EMP. Is there any sort of aggressive approach? The tanks have been caught, Doha's been caught. A lot of targets. The dive comes through. The Primal Rage from Fate is good. Fielder's going to be sent off the edge of Gibraltar. Dallas going to be answering with a couple of ults. You can see Fearless using the Primal to try and clutch this one. He does take out Lee Jae-gon. Fate gets caught as well. It was looking so good for Shanghai, but turned around in an instant. Dallas coming up with the necessary response.
And Shanghai just took that fight way too deep. I can appreciate what Lip was going for there to try and get value out of the EMP, but that's one of those situations where getting a big EMP that catches a lot of people actually hurts your team because they had to overextend so far to capitalize on it. Now Dallas, it's all about gaining that momentum. It's what we talk about every time on Gibraltar. You need to be winning these team fights, punishing the spawners, and getting control of the high ground. So far, so good.
That's what's happening here. The high ground control, especially if they get this kill onto Fate, that is a brutal one because this card is going to keep moving. And look at Dallas now, taking control of the shuttle. Doha up in the air as well. He's going to be able to put all that spam in with the sticky bombs. Holding this position, so important. I iterated all the time we're on here, but Lip's now going to try and find a way in, build up this EMP.
Yeah. This almost feels like the positions have been reversed. It was Shanghai trying to push in through these tiny spawn doors when they were on attack. Now they're trying to push through these tiny spawn doors on defense as well.
Oh my god, they forced a self-destruct as well. I think it was a whip shot from Jexa that completely took out the nano-boosted Fate. Having to use a lot of ults now to try and turn this. Dallas, it is going to catch onto 3 of them, and Fleder, obviously with the duplicate available to him, he's going to be out of it now, but he's already set up his team now. Lip moving forward, seeing if he can get any sort of damage and just trying to build up the EMP once more. But yeah, big team fight win, stopping them just short of that objective.
That's so crucial. They've killed the Dallas Fuel's momentum. Shanghai kept enough players online here alive that they should be able to take this high ground and try and fight aggressively again. Unfortunately, they don't have very many ultimates to work with here, so Shanghai are going to have to win another neutral engagement. The hack on Hanbin, though, sets them up for a beautiful punish onto Fearless.
Yeah, there was no peel available. Hanbin not able to use the abilities, obviously. And Lip's just, look at this aggressive positioning. He's just trying to build up the EMP as fast as possible. Really pushing his luck.
And in all of this time, they're buying Izayaki's nano boost. All of this time that's wasted just builds up Izayaki's nano. It can go on to Fate, and they can potentially crush another attempt to get in through these doors. Dallas are in a sticky position now with 2.5 minutes left. They're going to have to come out with magic.
Well, that was like a set engagement there. The self-destruct went up onto the shuttle to push them away. A lot of damage been put into the backline. What a sleep from Izayaki. He was so low, but the team is back now. The cavalry is there. Sparkle with the pulse bomb. Ready and waiting, just looking for the opportunity to let it rip. What is that? Catches it on the heels of Lee Jae-gon. The rally completely out of the fight, and now he wants to take it one step further. The Dallas Fuel, the pushing and pulling of these team fights is so good from them, and it just gives Sparkle the opening he needs.
The original self-destruct engage was gorgeous because it pushed away all of the Shanghai Dragons who were trying to fight close to the choke point. And now Dallas have 3 minutes to be able to get this across the line. Unless they do the same as Blizzard World and throw away their time bank, this should be Dallas taking a lead in the series.
Took Lip out of his visibility. He's got to wait for it to come off cooldown. Finally it is. EMP is ready. Shanghai want the opportunity. Lee Jae-gon goes down right at a crucial time. Just let me know when I'm ready to go.
There's Fate's Nano Boost towards the back line. Doing a ton of work for Shanghai to try and stabilize here. Dallas got so many picks in that prior fight, but they just weren't able to do it. There goes Fearless. Probably saved him from being a victim to that pulse bomb there. And as Fate falls, Dallas Fuel are gaining momentum. 2 minutes still on the clock, but I don't think they're going to need the entirety of it, because Doha is just destructive.
Pushing it in, the rally on top of it. Not even necessary at the end of the day, is it? The Dallas Fuel going to be taking away this map. And a couple of team fights was what separated it, but in the end, they are going to close it out here. Winning Gibraltar, taking the series to a 2-1 now. 1 map away from overall winning the series and moving forwards to our finals in the May Melee. Ridiculous stuff so far. The Dragons just searching for opportunities to come back into it.
This is a wild series. It feels like it's anybody's game, but Dallas Fuel have been consistently just a slightly better team. They had their opportunities to win both the Anubis and Blizzard World, but Shanghai are just keeping their heads in the game. 2-1 up for the Dallas Fuel. It's still anybody's match to take, but Dallas are looking pretty good. Let's see whether they can close it out with that win on Shanghai Dragons' next pick.
Yeah, we'll find out on the other side of the break just what that map will be we're going to be heading to. It's an important one. Shanghai going to be really thinking hard about this one now as we're heading into another break. Obviously, on the other side of it, the series will be continuing. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The series progressing. We'll find out just who's going to be coming out on top of it after this one.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
Welcome back, everybody, from the break, and as you can see, the Dallas Fuel raring to go. Obviously, complete concentration on the series ahead. Raring to go was the wrong words to use, I think, coming into this shot, but I think this is probably the appropriate response of what you want if you are a Dallas fan. You want these guys focused on the end goal, because the series isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. One map is essentially what stands between the Dallas Fuel moving forward into the May Melee Finals.
It looked like Sparkle was just saving his energy there, conserving it for a last push over the finish line, and then he raises his hands in jubilation to cheer the rest of his team on. He's a bit of a hype man for the rest of the guys. He was when he played for Paris as well. He's an extremely exuberant personality. He's, really outgoing and full of energy at all times. And so I think he's a pretty big presence in these games as they drag out longer and longer. It says 2-1 up there on the scoreboard, but look, we've played 4 maps already. This is pretty similar to all of the Shanghai Dragons games so far because they keep drawing when it comes to Assault. But nevertheless, Dallas Fuel, 1 map away from being able to secure their position in the finals, guarantee themselves $70,000 and 2 league points at minimum, even if they lose the finals. And right now, they're looking like the strongest team in this tournament, but Dragons are pushing them every step of the way.
That's the thing, you can't count out the Shanghai Dragons. You know, they're really bringing it to them in a lot of capacities, I think, shutting down what they're trying to do. The peel, I think, or not necessarily the peel, but Void and Lee Jae-gong have been so crucial in shutting down Doha to make sure that he can't build up the EMPs, the Sombra play that typically just rolls over a lot of other teams. They've been right on the ball with that. You can see that.
They have.
Yeah,
and so that's why it's been so crucial to me that Doha's making this swap over to play Echo on Gibraltar. And I think as we head now into a control map too, that is another thing to keep your eye on, is on Oasis, is Doha going to be trying to play the Sombra or is he going to be trying to play the Echo? So far, the Echo strategy, to me, has worked way better for the Dallas Fuel. The coordination between Doha and Fearless has just been next level.
And the teams are just getting ready. You're exactly right. The coordination of Doha, Fearless, but also on the other side of things, you've got Lip and Fate, who have been coordinating so many plays. And Lip, I mean, the real... I just really like to iterate it once more about his Tracer gameplay. I think has been so crucial to being able to take away the map wins that Shanghai have got so far in this series. I'm not sure what opportunities he'll have to play that as we're heading into Oasis, because now it gets messy. You know, the longer a series go, the more exhausted the map pool ends up being, and you end up on these maps that maybe you didn't quite want to be landing on it.
Sure. And this is the Shanghai Dragons pick, of course, Oasis. They got to select from the control maps available in the series. And I think that both of these teams now, at the moment, even though we hyped it up as a battle of the Sombras, both of these teams seem to look more comfortable with Echo in the lineup. Doha's Echo isn't getting shut down as much as his Sombra, and Lip's Tracer is so good that it kind of pushes Fleder away from the Tracer over to play the Echo too. So that, to me, is the best dynamic that we've seen from both of these teams. Let's see if they lean into that. Looks like it early on from Doha, and we might see Lip on the Tracer too.
Round 1, capture the objective.
Yeah, they're okay. The symmetric.
Here we go.
Through, yeah, they're both going to be playing the Tracer here.
I like
Doha
this from
the
both
Echo.
teams.
And they are matching each other. A lot of emphasis being placed again on the high ground as both teams are going to be trading positions. Just leaping up and down. It's a bit of a dance between both of them while the teams try and set up some sort of plays happening. Shanghai are the ones who get the early advantage though. A lot of kills going their way, and the beam, that's way too much damage to overcome. Hanbin's going to be demexed straight away. And Shanghai looking strong thus far.
They are looking very good. Shanghai took early control of that. Big punish, again using Fate as a bit of bait in the team fight. They're not really, their style doesn't really work around empowering Fate to be the best he can possibly be in the same way that Dallas does around Fearless. It's much more team coordination, bait him out. But Lip nearly just got a one-clip on Doha as well. He's got to be careful about that. Lip's up to 85% of a pulse bomb. Sparkle very close to him as well, both in the 90s. These pulse bombs have been crucial for either Tracer.
See Doha struggling. The pulse bomb from Lip, again, another connection. How many times have we iterated it? How many times have we talked this guy up? And he's not done yet. They want to be trying to capitalize, maybe get another pick off onto one of the tanks, but again, they just back off. Dallas choose to disengage this one after losing a crucial player.
He's
and
so
Shanghai
good.
looking at 45% and counting here, Josh.
Yeah, Lip is just so good. He's turning these team fights around for them when he can play the Tracer. His Sombra on Gibraltar wasn't really getting that much done, but now he's on the Tracer, and him and Fleder are going to be able to get work done. Sparkle shut down in the back, and Fleder's taking the duplicate. What can Fearless possibly do with this Nano Boost? There's no good targets.
Yeah, it's been pushed back, and Fate as that was entirely going on, the Primal Rage just enabled him to just, again, dive into the back line. Fielder caught out.
Winston to the front, a Winston to the back. What's the poor little boy to do?
Exactly, exactly. You can't do anything. And Shanghai looking at a pretty resounding round win at least, so I'm not going to call it just yet. 80% in counting, though. They're on a good track for it. Okay, a little bit of action here. Doha's just trying to set up as well off onto the side. You can see him looking for an opportunity to engage. The self-destruct goes through, and that's the go button. Look at that dive attempt. Trying to catch it. Lee Jae-gon just holding the shield, though. And look at how long they're staying alive. They bought so much time for Shanghai Dragons to answer back. Still, Fearless wants to try and turn it around as the Primal Rage is used again to clutch this one. Just chasing down Fleder. The pickoffs are going their way. The great attempt from Shanghai to just try and hold on for as long as they possibly could. Doha using that self-destruct as well. The overtime is burning, but it's only a matter of time. And there you go, the Dallas Fuel flipping the point over.
Big ultimate difference there. The duplicate from Doha getting so much work done alongside Fearless. And that double Winston setup with the Primal Rages it's almost impossible to be able to deal with it. Now I'm looking towards Fielder and Fearless. A Nano Boost, a Pulse Bomb. These are the kind of tools that Dallas have to be able to play an aggressive defense here and shut Shanghai out. They can't allow them an opportunity to get back into this one.
Spark so low! Holy moly! Lip just taking a 1v1, absolutely schooling him, and now the rally's being used, but it might be a little bit too late here for Dallas. Another stick from Lip! This is ridiculous! The guy comes alive when he's playing the Tracer. It's been so imperative, and now with the point flipped over, Dallas, they do have bodies to try and keep this going with the overtime, but Lip, I mean, the guy is just merciless, just diving into the back line, forcing them away. And Shanghai walking away with this round early on in Oasis.
Great performance from Shanghai Dragons. They look so good when Lip is playing Tracer. It's such a weird turn away from the norm to see Fleder not on this role and Lip having such a performance, but he's managed to sustain it over the course of the entire match. His pulse bombs, they feel like they hit every time, and whenever they do hit, they're on key targets to be able to get a pick. The solo kills, the final blows that he's able to put up on the board have just been monstrous for Shanghai to get an edge in this series and keep their head, keep their nose in this fight. They need another round, though, to tie this up to 2-2. And Dallas are going to fight them for every inch of it.
Here we go. It's the city center. The team's rolling out once more. Dallas absolutely, of course, they're going to be winning this round just to keep them into this map. Again, fighting over the high ground. You can see the Winston's just trading positioning. So important to control this. Lip, no one really punishing him too much. Just kind of building up. Already 40% of the pulse bomb compared to Sparkle's 20, but now the engagement comes in from Dallas. The damage, good Doha just laying it in. The sticky bombs coming through into the choke point, and you are right, Josh. Yeah, the disengage is good from Shanghai. They bait in the aggression pretty well. Now they're going to be looking for a chance to recontest it.
Yeah, trying to punish Fearless there. Great work from Void again. Just getting right up in Fearless's face as soon as he uses that leap cooldown. And Doha, he simply can't do enough. Nice idea from the Dallas Fuel to try for that recontest, and it did get them point control, but only for, what, 12, 13%? As Dallas Fuel get mopped up here, Shanghai are firmly in control, and now starting to get up to some really crucial ultimates as well.
I want to see Lip right now. The pulse bomb in his hand. I want to see it. I mean,
you just have a feeling it's going to work, right?
Yeah, I mean, we the attachment rate. What you said earlier, the stats behind it, was it 60%?
Yeah, it was 60%. Yeah,
it's just absurd. I mean, the guy just getting so much work done on the Tracer. Sparkle, obviously, his job is to try and keep it in check, and that's. You can see him trying to do it now. He's trying to push Lip back out of it, maybe force the recall. If you do that, you know he can't go in. But his team's doing a good job of pushing them backwards, and now Lip, he's trying to get into position now. They're trying to dive onto the back line. Lip stunned up, and again, another post-bomb kill for Lip. Jexa goes down, and Fearless, he's got a tough order on his hands. He's got to try and at least maybe get a pick, push them back, but Shanghai is still holding on, and they've done such a good job of just kiting in everything that Dallas are throwing at them. The fight continues. Fleder, he's so low, he has to get healed up here, and he's actually going to be building up his Iaki's nano boost. Lip again, look at the disrespect.
He can't be allowed to do this much in the backline. Jexa and Fielder need to be combining with Hanbin to shut him down. You just can't allow the Tracer to get this much work done. And on the meantime as well, Sparkle's pulse bomb, the previous one, got eaten by Void. It's just such a difference going on here. The Dallas Fuel backline is crumbling. Crumbling. Yeah. I know that Hanbin wants to support Fearless and do that that part of his job, but they need to make a strategical swap whenever Lips...
You're kidding me.
I mean, that nearly hit.
Look at him! Like, look at him!
He's all over.
He doesn't have recall, he's all over the place, but he's still playing in their spawn.
Yeah.
It's just monstrous.
It is. And it feels as a great honor, but there haven't been that many sleep dart shutdowns. Jex has been trying with the shield bash, but by that time, Lip's already all over him. And Hanbin hasn't been offering too much in that department either. Shanghai Dragons are firmly in control of this control point.
And another nano boost here onto Fate. Just trying to stop Dallas from really pushing forward. Fearless desperate to try and build up this Primal, but he's being punished heavily. Sparkle, though, may have just turned the tide of the fight, and the South Destruct as well into the backline will help get the rest of these kills. The positioning for Shanghai, they can't really opt into this fight any longer. Dallas, they're going to breathe a sigh of relief here as they finally flip the point back over into their favor. Lip will also go down. He's been an absolute menace, but the thing is, Josh, one team fight is what separates Shanghai Dragons from taking this map.
Yeah, and these engages from the Dallas Fuel, they're only just keeping their head above the water. They look good when they play aggressive, but the devastation in the backline is just the story of this. Lip is up to another pulse bomb again. I mean, surely he's not the game changer once more, right? Right? He's going to be going for it, though. These guys are up in the high ground, though, this time for the Dallas Fuel. Jex and Fielder, they're in much safer positions.
And a setup comes through. Flutter using the flight, just trying to force them off the high ground. Putting down the spam damage. Fate is there. Has the Primal as well.
He demeched Hanbin this time.
He used the pulse bomb to try and get the tanks out of the fight. The South Destruct comes over. Already 2 picks for them. Shanghai, they're just inches away now in just a moment. The blink of an eye, finding these opportunities. The Primal from Fleder. I'm just going to knock him off. Oh, the Fearless didn't have it. They flipped the point over, though. So Dallas have been given at least a brief opportunity. Might be able to take this one, but Shanghai flipping the point back over for them. The overtime burning down. Dallas just trying to keep it going. Fearless moving over to the Wrecking Ball now just to try and touch. The nano boost is wasted. He's going to be able to contest it for just a moment, but Shanghai, again with the vice grip, they've got complete control over this one. Fleder falling low, though. He goes down. That could be what they were looking for. With Hanbin falls out of the mech.
They have managed to punish Lip in the middle of all of this, but it's simply not going to be enough, Brent.
Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness, the Shanghai Dragons taking away Oasis, bringing us to the true distance now. 2-2 is the scoreline between these two teams, and it feels like Shanghai, if they get into a map where they can enable Lip to that degree and shut down Fearless, it's almost just, it's like the pendulum just swings in terms of the momentum of either of these teams.
It certainly does. And this is not a story that's unique, Brent. All of the games for the Shanghai Dragons in the May Melee so far have been 3-2. A 3-2 win over the Philadelphia Fusion, a 3-2 win over the Florida Mayhem. And they've all been 3-2 wins over 6 maps because they keep drawing on Assault. This is the same thing that Shanghai do every single time. And now coming into this final map, it feels like history could repeat itself once more. It truly is anybody's game, but Shanghai have been to these 6 map deciding maps so many times recently.
Dallas obviously going to be fighting for it every single inch. And we're going to find out how this series is actually going to be concluding as we're going to be heading over to our final map after this break, ladies and gentlemen. You know you don't want to miss it. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the series.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch League, and welcome back to our upper bracket finals here. Leading in, the winner of this next map will be moving on to the May Melee Grand Finals. And my word, both these teams, they really want it, Josh.
They do. Neither team is giving up whatsoever. They're fighting tooth or nail in every map. There have been so many instances that were really winnable for the Dallas Fuel. I'm thinking back to Anubis, I'm thinking back to Blizzard World, where they had all the opportunities in the world to be able to take it. And yet that most recent control map that we just saw on Oasis, they didn't really have a shot. They didn't have a shot. The Shanghai Dragons have had some maps where they've just been able to close it out. And to me, it comes down to Lips Tracer. If they can find opportunities to put him on it, they're looking so strong.
And we're heading to Dorado, so you're going to see opportunities here, this map in particular. And I am left wondering, obviously, I'm not privy to the internal details of these teams or their strengths in terms of the maps, but it would make sense to me that they would at least entertain the idea of maybe going to Havana, possibly, on the escort maps. But yeah, teams just don't want to take Shanghai to that map. They don't want to play the rush into Shanghai.
Yeah, a very weird phenomenon, actually, because I did think that the Dallas Fuel were going to be set up for a pretty favorable map pick, considering that they get the selection in this map 6, this decider map. I thought we were going to Havana as well, Brent, to be honest, because that map, we've seen a lot of rush getting played, and the Shanghai Dragons look quite significantly weaker. When Dallas have played it, they look good with their methods of working the map. But it feels like Dallas don't enjoy playing that, and they seem like they're potentially worried about the long-range hit scan implications. Same thing happened yesterday, Brent. If we think back in the Dallas-Chengdu game, Dallas had the option to pick an escort map, and they went to Gibraltar instead. We were wondering whether it was the right pick. Dallas ended up closing out that series. This time it's different. They're headed to Dorado, but the same thing could happen here. This is really where both teams are extremely comfortable. Dallas have looked good when they've played Dorado in the past, so have the Shanghai Dragons. There are many different comps that you could run here. You can run Winston comps, you can run ball comps, poke comps, dive comps, all sorts of different stuff. And Shanghai are going to begin here again with Lip on the Tracer.
Certainly are, and we've bigged it up the entire series long. Dallas need to be finding answers for it. They're going to be opting into a pretty familiar composition now, and again, just trying to exchange the bubbles. The Winston's trying to push Fate off of that high ground position. Bionade is going to connect here for Dallas. Fielder just going to be healing up the rest of his team. Sticky Bombs and Dohai just hunting for an opportunity, taking a ton of spam damage from Izayaki, but the engagement comes into the high ground now, forcing them back, trying to force them away here. There's a lot of chip damage, and Doha actually wasting his beam. Thought he might be able to get a pick off, but not going to be working out. Shanghai, they do get out without a casualty. Makes Izayaki's close to building up this nano boost because of it.
Extremely close, yeah. Fate took a ton of damage, but wasn't actually punished because Doha wasn't in position. It's something he's been so good at so far in this series on that Echo, is making sure that he's always there to be able to take Fate down with his focusing beam. There we go, nano boost engaged really early on actually, and it's Fearless who's starting it out. Counter dive comes out from Fate though as both Winstons take the nano.
Fearless being bashed up, 50 health, still being healed. They can bring him down, eventually they do. And as all that was going on, of course Lip was in the backline, of course he was doing them dirty. The Pulse Bomb's just getting so much work done, and look at that. I mean, obviously with the support of the rest of his team, but it's quite surreal just watching a Tracer just make quick work of any sort of Brigitte.
Yeah, and it feels like Dallas still are struggling to deal with this. They're thinking so aggressively focused. They think about themselves as very much like a spear, the tip of it going forwards deep into enemy territory with Fearless. But they need that defensive component as well.
That's what they're looking for. Pledo with the duplicate now is an opportunity for them. Hold them with his choke, and now he's got the flight. He's setting up for the engage. Oh, the tracking with the bombs! That is unbelievable. Soa did not stand a chance with that one. D-Mech as well, complete trust in his team. And a mastery of the cooldowns. He understands exactly how to play this. Hanbin, though, with the remech. Still not taken out. Primal Rage being used by Fearless, but the bombs again into the corner. Fearless is in a lot of trouble here. Shanghai still in complete control of this team fight. not really letting up at all.
Not in the slightest. And here's where we see the Dallas Fuel again in a bit of trouble. They've used their rally in that previous fight. They have a nano that they can use onto Fearless, but they haven't been able to really they haven't been able to push Shanghai back into a corner so that Fearless can get a really good engage. And every time they do, Lip is harassing them. This time Hanbin making sure to push him out so that he can't be in one of these power positions, harassing the backline, but it's he's going to be able to get back into those positions very quickly. I'm waiting to see here whether they can land a good nano engage. Double Winston on the field for the Dallas Fuel.
Fate's going to be immediately jumping into the backline. Jexa had to use that shield bash just to escape. But as this was going on, of course Dallas are going to be engaging with one of their own. It was the double Winston. Doha actually duplicated it but taken out of it. And now it's Shanghai's time to try and strike back. A rare miss from Lip there with the pulse bomb, but still putting in a consistent and really good amount of damage here. Primal Rage from Fleder, not catching. Shield bash just to get back into the spawn, so Jexa will be saved just in the nick of time, really.
And it's all
Shanghai
about these counter
still
dives.
holding.
Yeah, it's all these counter dives. Fate is just pushing away the backline so that Izzyaki can't get line of sight to be able to heal the guys on Dallas who are going deep. If you separate the backline from the 4 players in the front line, there's just nothing that Dallas are going to be able to do. And so Fate, even though the nano boost engage looks like it's kind of useless there, he achieves his goal.
So close to the primal as well. 8 seconds remaining. Dallas have got to find an opening here. The primal's going to be used. Someone's going to start touching the objective as well, just to keep it going. Fearless burst it down though. Self-destruct comes into the back. Izzyaki is going to be met. The nano boost is applied to Fleder. It's not over just yet. Dallas have found a lot of opening picks. They might be able to convert this yet. Now the Primal Rage being used by Fate. A huge Bionade. Massive from Fielder. The nano boost on top of it should be the spearhead they need to break through the choke once more. And the overtime is going to go. They get the D-Mech in the end. They have just about done it, saving themselves in the process. That was looking so shaky.
That was looking really unfortunate as soon as Fearless got bursted down. But the DPS line of the Dallas Fuel power them through, and they utilize both of their support ultimates towards the end just to close that one out as well. Dallas breathing a sigh of relief that they get that one over the barrier. Checkpoint A is theirs, but it doesn't get any easier from here. Now they have to deal with another high ground control. This time Shanghai Dragons set up so beautifully up there.
He's going to be dropping down for just a moment just to push them away, but Void obviously can go back up, just contesting around the corner. Sparkle looks like he wants to set himself up in a position here with the pulse bomb. Oh, with the duplicate now. That's going to be going straight in, and that is the setup they were waiting for. The pincer coming out. It's an instant punish on Doha, and he's going to be taken down immediately. That was Fleder with the beam, just answering it straight away. A sleep dart, but he's immediately woken up. So Fleder now in a position to just kind of essentially tickle him from behind with the Tesla cannon. He's built up the Primal Rage, and he's already won the team fight for them. It's way too hard to be playing into that as well with the Winston in the back line. The sleep dart onto Hanbin. Well, Hanbin's going to try and escape out of this, but look at the damage being done.
But they might turn this, Brent. Fate has been punished.
Like they want
Doha
to.
again.
A lot of opportunities. Lip goes down in the end to Sparkle, winning out this 1v1. The cart moves forward steadily. And it felt like Shanghai were gaining an edge, but ultimately have to back off here and play a 6 for the retake.
The punish onto Fate was the key for that one, but this time he has the Primal Rage, so not going to go down as easily as they fight over checkpoint B here. There we go. Fleder falls, though. That's pressure from Sparkle, who now on Dorado is starting to open up. They've been able to punish Lip much more consistently here, but Fate's Primal finds 2, and that's going to call the end to the Dallas Fuel's push. Only 45 seconds left. Wait a second, they're still trying to fight this.
Still trying to fight this. The duplicate comes off. They actually have found openings. Sparkle's come back into this, but Lip is still alive. Now the Primal being built up. Doha has to try and turn this around, but Dallas, they're finding it just out of nowhere. Lip's still alive, has to try and clutch this for his team now, but he will be brought down as Doha comes back into it. And Dallas, they turn the team fight. So many backwards and forwards. It feels like at any moment, a team, you just never know. You can't trust them, Josh.
That was incredible, though. Dallas lost both of their supports and were able to come back into that with a duplicate and a Primal Rage and just wipe the floor with everybody else. That was some magical stuff there. Fantastic play from Dallas.
Nano boost. It doesn't end yet.
Fearless with a little bit of a beef on that shield that he put down on the high ground, and that's going to put Dallas in a rough position. Surely they don't turn this one around as well, but if they had got the kill on Lip there, that would have been nasty.
Lip is ridiculous. He's really just pushing the issue now. But Sparkle, the 2K with the pulse bomb. It is the never-ending team fight. Now Lip has to try and shut him down, but he's receiving the heals and has to back out. Realizes you can't take that team fight. They're chasing him down to try and get the kill here. It hasn't ended. The action has not ended.
And Dallas are committing their ultimates so perfectly to be able to turn these fights around. They're suckering the Shanghai Dragons in and then punishing them when they overextend. The Bayonet there caught onto so many players from Shanghai. Takes down Fleder as well. But still, only 45 seconds.
The Banana Boost here, Fearless. He's got to try and build up this Primal, and that's what he's hunting for. With the Nano Boost, it should be easy for him. And now he's got it off. Recall comes out, and he knows his target. He's trying to get it onto Lip, but Lip has evaded him, just broken his ankles ever so slightly. And as this was all going on, Fleder again makes his move into the backline. Fearless gets almost nothing with the Primal. Shanghai holding on 20 seconds for Dallas to try and push this. Do they continue to fight this? Looks like they want to try and disengage, but they're being hunted now by Lip as he's chasing down his targets.
Sparkle used a pulse bomb there in the backlines as well. But Lee Jae gone incredibly weak, must have landed on the floor just by his toes. And Dallas are trying to contest. Doa with a duplicate is going to be able to catch up. He gets the mech there, which is going to give him a lot of survivability. But surely no way that Dallas turned this fight again.
They're going to try to here. You can see Doha gets taken down. That was the whip shot of Lee Jae Gon. He bashed into the corner. Fate not able to collect that kill. Actually does just about get it onto Jexa in the end now. You can see the damage is being done. Fielder tries to even it out with the Bayonet at the end, but not going to be enough for them. Even still, the Dallas Fuel, I think the momentum that they carried from Checkpoint B into that final push was ridiculous, considering how close they were to getting full held there at Checkpoint A.
Exactly. They got so much meterage for, I don't want to say for free, because they had to work for every centimeter that they took, but they got more than it originally seemed like they would be able to. Not only because they were able to bully their way through Checkpoint A with a final last-ditch overtime push, but then the miraculous plays that individuals were able to pull out to turn unwinnable team fights into momentum was just absurd. Dorado is an incredibly difficult point to push all the way through. Shanghai is going to have their work cut out for them here. This final map was looking a bit disastrous for the Texas team, but no longer.
Shanghai, I mean, they're teasing some stuff here. I don't think they're going to be rolling out with this one, but yeah, Dallas now have a clear kind of viewpoint of where they need to stop the Shanghai Dragons, obviously. They can see where their win condition is, and yeah, despite the fact that, you know, most people I think might look at this and think, well, I didn't get all 3 checkpoints. Dorado is, as you said, Josh, I mean, it's so hard to push at every single point of it because of the amount of high ground that the defenders have access to. And it's utilizing that. Dallas Fuel going to be looking to try and close this series out. Shanghai obviously now know exactly what they have to do here. Coming out of the gate, we're going to see the matchup again. Lib still on the Tracer, Fleder on the Echo, and already the fight is taking place as they're trying to fight them and push them off. A lot of damage being pumped into Fearless. Has to get the heals, has to dive back to the rest of his team.
That was rough there for a moment. Sparkle slept up in the back line as well. Iziaki with such a fantastic play, and Lee Jae-gon, they finish off the Korean Tracer. And that gives Shanghai Dragons an opening. Lip now uncontested.
Void only down to half HP. Okay.
What?
Echo's going to start trading each other out with the beams. That's a rarity. Don't see that often. That is ridiculous.
Just Hawaii things, Brent. Just Hawaii things.
It feels like it, doesn't it? Lip's going to still try to keep building up this ultimate, the Pulsebomb. Fearless locking them off at the choke point, eventually taken down. That was a Bayonet, I think, to assist with that one. Fielder being pretty huge of it. The Primal Rage being used by Fearless. He knows that Shanghai are not going to be giving this up easily, despite the fact that Dallas are winning. They have a big player advantage. They still need to be using and committing ultimates to try and win this.
And that's good work, stopping Shanghai when they had that opportunity. The pick onto Sparkle could have really opened the doors, but Shanghai just pushed a little too deep, trying to harass the Dallas Fuel's backline as they pushed back inside the safety of those houses towards the left. Nano Boost could be crucial here, though. It's probably going to go under Fate, and Fleder has a duplicate of his own. Double Winstons on the board. Very likely here.
Yeah, Nano Boost again onto Fate. Sparkle is holding his ground, has the Pulse Bomb, ready and waiting, lets it go onto the corner. Going to do a lot of damage, but no kills going to be converted from it. Ultimate's being traded out left, right, and center. You can see the South Destruct of Void was sent in, pushes it. Fleder I don't know if that was an accident or not, but the rally will come up online very quickly now. Just trying to stay alive, keeping his team with the extra heals coming into this one. Lee Jae-gong forced out. Dallas with a great pickoff now, but it's been wrapped around. Fate is just trying to cause all sorts of damage, and Doha with his own duplicate. The Primal Rage might be enough. Indeed it is. It catches Izayaki. And now we're going to be using that beam just to finish off Fleder as well. Shanghai in a very similar position to what Dallas were happening to them on the attacking side. So often that we see these teams, they get held up here at this first checkpoint.
Definitely. I mean, Fleder's swap there over to the Brigitte didn't generate too much value for them. They needed that Winston to make space for them in the choke point, but Fleder didn't have his duplicate online fast enough. And Doha's the one who gets the enormous value there. Now they have to push into Fearless's Primal Rage again. This is where Dallas are so dangerous. The former main tank for the Shanghai Dragons has the tool needed to shut the door on them.
We'll see. Fate with the Bionade has to use his Primal. Lip wins it out. He beats down Sparker when he was going for the engagement. And that might just be what they needed now. Lip has to use the recall, back up with the rest of his team, but now he's caught out of position. The post bomb laid out. Not going to be finding his target. It was Fearless, but eventually hunted down by Void, nevertheless. And Shanghai still pressing the issue, pushing their advantage. Getting the D-Mech here onto Hanbin. They are going to win out this team fight, but Dallas did disengage from this one. I don't know if they're going to try and recontest this one. You can see Sparkle is hiding.
Yeah, almost certainly. You look at Sparkle's positioning, he's going to contest the objective, and that's going to make space for Fearless to come back in with a nano, probably. Here they go.
They try to get the boot back off onto him. Fleder 1 HP in a dream. The heals. Izayaki so clutch with that one. And as this was going on, Sparkle did manage to get the kill with the post bomb. The recontest may have just paid off so well. 20 seconds left. Shanghai forced to disengage from this one. It's do or die.
We've been singing the praises of Lip throughout this series, but Sparkle comes up huge there. Contest on the payload, stick on the back line, and now there's enormous pressure on the Shanghai Dragons. Void's going to be able to touch and trigger overtime here, but Fleder's duplicate has got to find enormous value. They have duplicate, they have the nano to work with, the point.
Somebody does end up touching it in the end. Shanghai, they cannot give this one up. Fleder ends up using the duplicate over to the Ana. He's taken out immediately. And with Jexa leading the charge, swinging away, the Inspire healings are keeping Dallas still into this one. The nano boost onto Fate. It's a last-ditch effort, but it's all they've got. Fielder will fall. They might get the D-Mech. They do indeed. Shanghai could still be winning this one, but they have to play perfectly. The duplicate comes off now onto Doha using the rally. It's a lot of armor being applied, and the targets are still alive. Shanghai trying to hold on to this one. The tanks are doing their darndest to stay into it. Lip eventually taken out, though. Fearless with the Primal Rage that he's become so well known for. Might just ended it, indeed he does. The Dallas Fuel are going to win out the series. It's a 6-mapper, but they take it away and they will move forwards into the May Melee Finals.
Unbelievable finish there for the Dallas Fuel. They were tested like they haven't been so far. Cruised through the rest of the May Melee, dropping only a single map. And in this series, it almost seemed inevitable that the Shanghai Dragons would commit another one of their 6-map 3-2 victories. And Dallas, they denied them. Taking that win on Dorado in pretty dominant fashion, to be honest, Brent. The push all the way to checkpoint C, and then a full hold on A. It's on a knife's edge, because if that final team fight goes the way of the Shanghai Dragons, who knows what momentum they could have been able to build up. But Fearless gets his win, gets his revenge, and proves to his former team that he was a major key to their victories in the past. You could just see the impact he was getting at all times throughout this match.
I mean, it was just tremendous. And ultimately, it was the Dallas Fuel who came out on top. And I think the Shanghai Dragons came in with tremendous game plans to try and shut down what Dallas were doing. So much of it was relying on Doha, obviously, with his Sombra gameplay. And they forced him over to the Echo. And they thought that maybe, you know, with Fleder taking that, with Lip really turning up on the Tracer, that it might be enough. But Dallas just way too good at those aggressive defense holds. Just finding the win, just squeaking it out. I cannot believe that we've seen another 6-mapper. Just ridiculous.
I don't think they can believe it, to be honest.
Dallas guys, obviously, they're all playing in the facility in Hawaii. And, I mean, it's absurd. These guys making it all the way to the finals. They've guaranteed themselves second place, which is going to guarantee them points, is going to guarantee them prize money, but they're not going to be settling for that. They're going to be settling to go all the bloody way.
Yeah, this sets ourselves up for What a lower bracket as well. Just an unbelievable situation down there. But we've got to move over to our player of the match, Brent.
Yes, and our player of the match presented by Xfinity. It's got to go to the one individual who was setting it up time and time and time again. It's Fearless. We really couldn't have given it to... well, I mean, there's a couple of players that we could have given it to on Dallas' side, but I think Fearless was the one who really made the major case. At the end of the day, it was his Winston play that was really setting up his team for success time and time again.
And especially when you're playing against a team like the Shanghai Dragons, who they know your tendencies and they play a style that's designed to punish main tanks too. But the way that Fearless still played around that and was able to get so much value, especially out of these primals, saved them in many situations. And he really is the spearhead, making all of that space for Doha to get huge value on the Echo, and able to survive and sustain himself in a way that we actually saw Fate getting much more punished trying to play a similar kind of role for this team. He's a deity when it comes to the Winston. He's unmatched.
A deity.
He seems like it. He's the anime protagonist, but it almost seems like he is the final boss as well. He's progressing. This narrative arc, it knows no bounds.
He's encompassing it all. Yeah, just absolutely absurd. I mean, the stats on the guy as well. The Primal Rage kills. It's so important as well to have a capable Winston player able to really put in the work with the Primal Rages, because the entire comp relies on it as well, what teams are playing with at least these days. But they are going to be happy with that one, and of course, as you can see from the lower third, we do have an interview with Fearless that's coming up fairly shortly, but that's going to do it for us now. But there's even more Overwatch League action coming up. I mean, it feels like that should have been the culmination, but Josh there's two more matches. It's only just begun. It's only just begun. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. But the Overwatch League, obviously the May Melee as well, is going to be continuing after this break. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with even more action.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Go to takemetomanoa.org today.
Welcome to Game presented by Pringles. We're joined here now by Fearless from Dallas Fuel. Fearless 선수 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
Alright, I mean, I know most of you guys that are watching this, you guys don't like when I ask the player how they feel after a match, but I have to ask him this. I have to. That was a long match and you guys, that was a big win for you guys as well, so I'm just gonna ask you this. 필러스 선수, 이거 많은 분들이 뭐 기분이 어떠세요? 이런 류의 질문을 별로 안 좋아하긴 하는데 물어봐야 될 것 같아요. 굉장히 긴 싸움이기도 했고 제가 봤을 때는 좀 굉장히 중요한 경기에서 지금 이제 승리를 거두셨기 때문에 지금 소감 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단 제가 지금까지 오버워치 프로게이머를 하면서 지금만큼 행복했던 적이, 그러니까 지금만큼 행복한 게 이게 처음인 것 같아요. 이 정도 행복한 게.
Alright, I believe after becoming a pro player for Overwatch League, right now, this moment is the happiest I've ever been as a pro player in Overwatch League. And you should be. That was a really big win for the Dallas Fuel. So, I mean, you guys were facing off against the Shanghai Dragons, and you were part of that team last year and even the inaugural season as well. Did you feel extra motivated to win because you were sort of facing off against your former team? 이제 어떻게 보면 이제 상하이 팀에 필러 선수가 좀 굉장히 오랫동안 있었잖아요. 저번 시즌도 있었고 또 리그가 처음 시작했을 때도 상하이 팀에 계셨는데 그것 때문에 좀 오늘 경기에 임하면서 좀 오늘은 꼭 이겨야겠다라는 좀 이런 생각을 좀 하셨나요?
일단 제가 하는 모든 경기들 중에서 오늘만큼 꼭 이겨야겠다라는 생각, 진짜 그 생각만 갖고 게임을 했습니다.
I definitely did really want to win. I believe throughout all the matches, all my career as a pro player, probably today's match, I really just wanted to win. This was the most important match. I definitely wanted to win against the Shanghai Dragons. All right, my last question is, with today's win, of course, you guys are going up to the finals and you guys will be facing off another team in the finals tomorrow. Is there a specific team that you sort of want to see in the finals and why? 어제 오늘의 승리로 인해서 내일 이제 결승전에 드디어 가시게 되셨는데요. 내일 좀 이 팀과 한번 겨뤄보고 싶다 하는 팀이 있을까요?
내일은 이제 플로리다 메임이랑 좀 붙었으면 좋겠어요. 그 이유는
왜요?
지금 저희가 이 청도를 이기고 그 다음에 상하이를 꺾고 이제 마지막에, 그러니까 저희 총 지금 4팀이잖아요. 그 중에서 이제 메인까지 이기면 저희가 완전 최강인 거기 때문에 메인까지 이기고 싶네요.
Alrighty. So, Fearless says that he definitely wishes Florida could go all the way up to the top, and he wants to face off against the Florida Mayhem because they've already beaten Chengdu, they've beaten Shanghai today, and if they win against Mayhem, no one could question Dallas's power. Dallas would be the most OP. Sorry about that. Not OP, but like the strongest team right now in the May Melee tournament. That would solidify their place in the May Melee tournament and in the Overwatch League. All right. Fearless, that is it for the interview. Congratulations again on your dub and good luck tomorrow. 오늘 인터뷰 해주셔서 너무 감사드리고요. 내일 파이팅 하셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Okay. 파이팅. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. Alright, head back to the desk. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Danny Lim and Fearless. Congrats, of course, to the Dallas Fuel. Now, Dallas Fuel, they are staying undefeated in the May Melee and securing themselves a spot in the finals tomorrow. The Shanghai Dragons, they are going to drop down to the loser bracket where they will get one more chance before elimination. I just want to quickly mention that this is the third 6-map thriller in a row for the Shanghai Dragons. Now, unfortunately, they weren't able to actually clinch it out this time around, but what a nail biter this was. And looking at both teams performing today on the server, I mean, there was so much adaptation, Costa. They both showed so much adaptation.
Yeah, it was another level. Obviously, yesterday's 6-match series by the Shanghai Dragons wasn't as impressive as today, but today, Johnny made a really good point while we're watching it. You can see the Shanghai Dragons learning and improving as the match goes on, and that's what was so impressive. Obviously started a little slow against Dallas Fuel, but they slowly found the answer, slowly found the tempo. Somehow they keep, finding the picks onto Jexay and Fielder. That was the weak point for the Dallas Fuel, and Shanghai just kept pressuring it. Unfortunately, on Dorado, they just couldn't get over the line. They were this close to a full hold, but then just Dallas Fuel rallying back and just showing such a strong, dominant performance. Like, everyone else is out here trying to win this May Melee, and we have Fearless trying to capture the Infinity Stones of the Overwatch League, trying to beat every team in his path. They're literally dominating anyone who comes across them. And, Danny, you said you misspoke. Dallas Fuel are overpowered right now. They just seem to be on another level.
Thank you. All right.
There you go.
So they are OP. Nice.
Very right.
We even took out XC and they're still overpowered. Like, what's happening here? Dallas Fuel, Fearless. We need to change Fearless a little bit. Maybe Winston is overpowered. I mean,
oh, Johnny, don't say that.
Don't say that. Flying, you're gonna get close to this. Let's not talk about that.
Like, guys, I honestly want to know how many times Fearless ulted, like, primal throughout the whole series. Like, what's the count?
He has around a 20-second cooldown. Yeah, just every 20 seconds, pops it again, goes in again.
I mean, it definitely seemed like